Hi friends, welcome to the Anime Book Club podcast. I'm your host, DJ Montague.
And I'm your host, Greg. And here we review anime from classics to brand new stuff, hidden gems, and controversial favorites.
You'll hear all of our hot takes, rants,
and genius observations. So thanks for tuning in, and buckle up because the episode starts now.
By the way, friends, these episodes contain spoilers, so be careful and don't ruin this anime for yourself. You've been warned. I pressed the record button.
All right, so you're recording?
I am currently recording.
Let's go. It's my turn.
We did this the other day. All right. Intro it, brother.
Okay.
Are you okay?
I'm getting ready to do my intro.
Okay. That's not... You're not clearing your throat. You're just grunting to us, just so you know.
It's part of the intro.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Are you ready?
Greg, I've been ready.
Okay. I'm also ready.
Go ahead, Greg.
Okay. Are you ready?
I swear to God, Greg.
Okay, here we go. I'm going now. No more fooling around.
Greg!
Okay, here we go. I'm going. I'm gonna go. I'm going.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody, to the Anime Book Club podcast. I am your host, man who has not changed the names on the template.
Mm-hmm.
I am Greg Big Dumb DeZeus, and I am here with my friend, my co-host, and my mentor.
Mentor?
My father.
I'm not that much older than you.
This is where you say your name.
Hi, I'm DJ Montague. I'm not his dad, or daddy, or father.
And today, my father and I are going to talk about Ranma, one half. We're also going to talk about Demon Lord 2099.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to touch Bleach in ways that only 1,000-year blood work can.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about Dan.
Dan. Greg, how are you feeling about these 2 weeks of anime?
We are coming up on the end of winter season. The end of these 4 animes that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I've had fun.
Yeah, this whole thing is done by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Except for one episode trickles over. Nope. Every episode will be done by New Year's. Every show that we're watching right now will be done by New Year's.
Yeah, I think it's been fun so far.
Yep.
I don't really have any complaints. Even Bleach. I'm not even going to complain about Bleach.
You'll do that in a little bit?
Yeah, we will. It's not good, but also it was fun.
Okay.
It was fun. You got to take the good with the bad. And there's more positive than there is negative in this season.
Okay, I do want to say that, first off, real quick with Bleach, the last 2 episodes, like, the 2 episodes before that were kind of lame, but now that we're getting into the meat and potatoes of what's going on in the 1,000-year blood war, yeah, so this is core 3, and there's 4 cores for 1,000-year blood war, correct?
I think there's also an armored core.
Armored Core 6 was pretty cool.
Yeah.
God damn it, Greg. I don't know what fight they could have and then also wrap up in the last 2 episodes, but I think I can guess. But either way, I'm not as upset as I was. I watched the 2 episodes of Bleach and I kind of had a good time. I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. I want to watch another one. So I'm changing my vote on Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War currently.
I'm holding strong. We'll talk about it once we get there. And that's kind of how I feel about all of these. How are they going to end it? Because they only have 2 more episodes left.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Demon Lord technically is 3.
Yeah.
Because it started a week later than the others.
Mm-hmm.
But we only have 2 episodes left. So what are they going to do in these 2 episodes? Kind of close everything out.
To blow your socks off?
Forever. With Bleach, hopefully. But if not, how are they going to set up the next season?
I think I know what's going
to. But yeah, I've been having fun. No complaints so far. Even all the other animes that I've been gorging upon.
Yeah.
They are all going pretty well, I would say.
Greg's been bathing himself in anime for the last 10 years, but recently it's been like a pool size amount of anime. What's your feelings on each particular anime we're watching right now? No spoiler time. Just chill. What's your high level opinion about? Let's go start with Ranma, Demon Lord, Bleach, and Dan to Dan.
Ranma is fun and faithful. I am having a lot of fun with it.
Yep.
I'm still getting kind of the nostalgia feel and the deja vu feels, like when certain scenes come, I'm like, hey, I remember watching that, like 20 odd years ago.
Yep.
They've been doing a really good job. I think the animation's really good. I think all elements of Ranma have been very solid. So I'm enjoying Ranma a lot. Demon Lord, they've basically just started a new season inside of the existing season.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad, but I'm also a little confused. Episodes 8 and 9, like, yeah, they're not bad. I just have to take myself out of the whole premise of the original story that we were presented.
Okay.
And yeah, it's fun. I like their little adventures they go on. I like the little banter that they have. It is kind of weird that you have like a 500, even older than that, right? You have like 1,000-year-old man attending high school and then just like destroying, 19-year-old kids. It's interesting.
It is quite.
Bleach continues to just be like, I don't even know what to expect anymore, because that last episode and how they defeated Among Us Guy Hand, I was just like, wow, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Dan to Dan as well. I mean, has a special place, I think. That one kind of comes out on top in the reigning champions winner.
Way too good.
Yeah, winner 2024.
Yeah.
It's standing on the podium alongside 2.5 Dimensional Seduction and 365 Days for the Wedding. So it's doing really good.
Nice. I watched 2 different shows. We're reaching the end of the seasons. So Greg and I behind the scenes have been talking about what new shows we're going to watch in the next, let's say in the next core of the Anime Book Club podcast. I voted for 2 older shows. Both are getting new seasons, but I want to watch Ishura. I watched the first episode. That shit was crazy. And I heard that it gets wild and it's just like a crazy show. And the first episode really was like, yeah, cool. And then I watched the first episode of MF Ghost and I was fucking juiced. Oh man, it's good. It's a good time. Greg, what's your next up?
Well, I would like to hit some of the things that I didn't hit this season.
Okay.
I did want to check out Orb on the movements of the Earth. I also wanted to check out Mecha Ude.
Mecha Ude.
Yeah. Mechanical arms. I think it has something to do with aliens, but the aliens are fists and then you put them on and punch people, I think. Something like that.
Down.
But I do have my list of what's the next season technically called? If this is winter 2024, what's
spring?
Is that it? Yeah, I guess. So whatever, in January, or whatever January season's called. I already have the animes kind of picked out, similar to what I did this season, where I tried to just pick a variety of new series or existing series with seasons, extra seasons this coming up after December. So we'll kind of go over that, I think, in another episode where we'll wrap up winter and then go into the next stage of our anime viewing.
Yeah, 100%. I just looked up the Wikipedia of Mecha Ude, and that looks cool. I would want to watch that. I didn't spoil the storyline for me, but it looks pretty shonen beat stuff up-esque, and I'm in.
Yeah.
So, cool. Well, let's, you want to roll right into it? You want to become a ball and start rolling?
Yeah, let's give the people what they want.
Oh. Are we going to bust it wide open?
Is that what they want?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think that's what they want. Would you like to start with Ranma or would you like to start with Demon Lord?
Let's mix it up. we're gonna do a little switcheroo, and we'll do Demon Lord first.
All right. Let us, friends, this is going to, hold on. I have to sneeze again, and I don't want to do it directly into the microphone. I will be right back. Give me a moment. Give me just an uno momento.
Standing by. I don't know if I've ever had to sneeze so hard that I had to excuse myself from the room. That must be some crazy sneeze.
Sneezing like a DBZ character powering up. Damn. Thanks. All right, so let us begin with the DL, dude. Demon Lord 2099. We begin episode 8 with an opening in a classroom and a girl with heterochromia kind of getting bullied by her classmates a little bit. We see our boy DL is a new student in this girl with heterochromia's class, announcing to the world that I am Veltol Velvet Underground. And as Veltol begins his announcement of himself, the girl puts her hand over her own eye, implying that she has a connection to somewhat of Veltol existing. I'm confused at this point because they show the beginning of the episode and it's like they're already in Akihabara, but later in the episode they come back to this moment here. So this girl starts having weird visions. She's like talking to somebody else and we don't really know who. Are they visions or is it just something that's in her mind that's happening? She's like, someone's talking back and forth with her.
I don't know if it's visions, but there is a lot of apologizing going on.
Yes.
Lots of golden ripples through the darkness, foreboding. And at the end of the episode, I think we get a little bit of a glimpse on what it might actually be. But yeah, we got DL, our boy, new transfer student from Shinjuku all the way to Akihabara School of Magic for a short-term exchange program.
How's that work, by the way? Like, is that a 3-month stint?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Takahashi hacked her way in. She just made up a brand new exchange program just for them.
Yeah. So with Takahashi existing in this show, I'm glad that she's there because, like, realistically, I think Takahashi is kind of carrying the show right now a little bit. She's kind of funny to me. But continue on.
Yeah, I mean, she really anchors everything down because without her, like, I would have no idea what the hell was happening.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm glad she's there, but it cuts back. So now it does a flashback to DL playing what I think is Sekiro because he beat Demon Souls. And then
it's kind of implied that it's Sekiro. But it's like, it's at first he was playing Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Which is Bloody Spirits 1, 2, and 3. And then there, I don't know if it's like Elden Ring or Sekiro, but it looked almost like Neo or Sekiro, something like that. Either way.
That's what I had in my notes, but I think they called it Super Fortress Vania Gaiden.
Yes.
You know? Machina is watching his stream from the living room, which I think is good girl Machina supporting her man, even though he's literally in the next room. But
also
he was doing a 74-hour stream though.
74 hours straight. Obviously, he's an immortal. I don't think he really cares about sleep like that. Also, chat during this time is talking mad shit. That's in my notes specifically. One thing I did want to touch on is the intro's been updated now with the new characters. So you don't see Marcus anymore. So that was a thing.
Very interesting because I don't watch intros. So I completely missed that part of it.
So Machina talks after the stream, goes out. She says, you need to fucking chill a little bit. Like 24 hours of time, understandable. 74 hours straight, maybe not the thing. I think this is a reference to, it's Timmy, who was a streamer who streamed for 74 hours straight playing Apex Legends. He did a Zero to Hero run where it was like literally start at bronze and go to Apex Predator, which is their highest rank. So that was like a thing. I think that was a reference to that. I don't know. I don't think Demon Lord 2099 really knows about it, but that was a thing that happened.
They are doing a lot of other references, so I wouldn't doubt it.
Maybe, yeah. Machina says that he needs to take more breaks because she's going through face withdrawals from our boy DL. I don't know what that means. Greg, do you know what face withdrawals are?
It must be like an immortal demon thing. Yeah, I'm not entirely
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But at least his channel has surpassed 3 million viewers and subs.
Yeah.
And he's unlocked his second form for his dark sword, Vardal.
Yeah, which is specifically used to kill immortals.
Yeah, he says it's not as cool because it is to kill immortals. And he said it also kind of looks like Graham's sword, which is a turnoff, apparently.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, it's fucking lame. It's not like big curved scimitar with 18 other compartments on the side of it. It's just like a normal sword, and that's fucking stupid. So,
but Veltal, he wants to go search for their dark peers, Rahl Sheen, the Blue Storm, Silwald, the Black Dragon, and May, the Mournful Firmament.
Yeah.
So it does check out, because originally there were 6. You have Machina, so now there's 5 more. Marcus is dead, so now there's only 4
more.
Yeah, and I was a little confused when Marcus was talking to Machina during the whole Immortal Furnace thing, because I was like, didn't he throw more people in there?
Yeah, he said he threw like 6 in there. Yeah,
but I guess he was just name dropping like non-dark peers. So they were other immortals, I guess, but not specific dark peer immortals.
Yeah. Didn't we talk about that in the episode too? We were like, oh, we thought we were going to go see dark peers, but apparently there's none left now.
Because if you add them all up now, you had Marcus, you had Machina, you have Rahl Sheen, Silwald, May,
and then Zenol.
So yes, I had the same thought.
Okay, real quick, I wanted to make sure you guys noticed Machina giving away those toes for free on the internet. That's wild. She goes up to kneel on something in front of this screenshot right here is so sexual. That was whoa. Hey, chill. We didn't need all that.
I think it's innocent.
Greg,
normally when you're talking to your demon lord, that's the standard seating position. Yeah. So I thought it was perfectly fine.
Sure. Anyways.
But they need to find the Dark Peer records.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a book of some sort of all the peers. They put all their magic into it. Specifically for a time like this, so they can find each other.
It records all of your actions and all of your whereabouts.
Yeah.
My next note is really fucking convenient, my guy.
I know. I was thinking the same thing, but I was also thinking, like, how granular does that get? Was it like went to the bathroom, picked up some food?
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, dude, if he's just like on the internet, just like jamming his bacon, are they going to pick that up in the book too? Like the specific, like whatever you were looking at on your web browser, like
1,000%.
So whatever deviancies you have recorded in that book because you put mana in it at some point. So,
but then Takahashi swings by. Apparently, Takahashi comes by all the time.
Yeah,
Makina mentions that she comes basically like 5 days a week.
Yeah, but said that she would never come by because it's Eiju's house. She was like, I can't be here, but I'll be here tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, she shows up all the time. Yeah. She tells Veltal his stream is good. People use streams like that. 74-hour streams is basically background music while they do other stuff, and then he can chop up all of that content into shorter clips so people can catch up later. Great advice for content creation, Takahashi.
Yeah,
you're doing it.
Thank you.
She asked what game he's going to play next, and they were talking about Dark Peer stuff. Takahashi is like, why are you guys talking in secret? Are you keeping something from me? But then
importantly, she's also a high schooler.
They made her seem like, before all of this, before episode 8, so episodes 1 through 7, I thought she was older than that. But now you have Machina, who's like over 500 years old. You have Veltal, who's over 500 years old. So she's basically hanging out with like mummies at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess it's fine. I guess it's a nice, fun thing that's going on. I guess, yeah, when you start adding the ages in like that, and it's kind of weird if you think about it, but I guess just don't. So Takahashi uses her super hacker skills.
He's like, we're going to go find this book. It's really important, and it doesn't concern you because this is immortal shit. And she's like, what book is it? And he's like, you're never going to find it. And then she just basically pulls up Google and she's like, watch this, you dumb bitch. And then hacks the internet through Google and then finds the book immediately. banger.
Yeah, she just has a bunch of bots scraping websites for the pieces of information that she wants. And I don't know. I like this anime in terms of like, I feel like they did their research for the hacking elements. Obviously, you're not always sitting there typing on a keyboard like the hooded hacker guy or whatever. But I think they do a good job demonstrating how she like used bots to do the hacking, and she wasn't just sitting there smashing the keyboard being like hacker man. I thought it was nice how they actually did the streaming and they referenced OBS and Steam and other programs and other games. So I like how they're accurately trying to depict this stuff without just like randomly making shit up. Like Bleach, where when you get stabbed, you just rip that arrow out and just don't worry about first aid or anything like that. Just fucking rip it and let's keep on fighting, boys.
Yep. Putting holes in people and just going, that doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah, my arm got twisted off. Oh.
My toes still work even though there's no bone and muscle in between my toe and foot now.
Yeah, let me rearrange the nerves in my toes so they don't get twisted off.
Anyways.
So she finds some leads on the book, and she said that the Dark Pier records are located in Akihabara at one of the only colleges of magic left. Luzel, I guess, is the name of the college. LU space XEL. Takahashi and Makina talk about what they're going to do. Are they going to break in, guns blazing through the front door? Are they going to do the stealth mission where they're going to sneak in and steal it? And Veltal is just like, no, let's just be students.
Yeah,
he said, like, you know what? Let's just do it normally. We're just going to go unlock the treasure as normal people. No need to do illegal stuff.
Smart.
So
they want to celebrate, and they keep saying this throughout the episode.
Oh, yeah, the sushi thing.
Yeah.
I did think that was because I saw Makina did it before. She's like, what do you want to get to eat? Do you want to get this or do you want to get sushi? And she does this like little
they all do the fucking
whatever, right?
sushi press, dude.
Yeah. And then Takahashi did the same thing after they were saying, and Veltal is like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they're like, oh, it's a trending meme. He's like, oh. Okay.
I don't understand, but I'm fucking in.
Yeah, he wasn't entertained at all. And I feel like that's kind of how I am too. Like someone will be like, hey, yo, you check out this newest meme thing or whatever. And I was like, no. And they show it to me. I'm like, oh, that's it. Okay. Sounds good.
Is that what happens when I send you things, Greg? God damn. Oh, is that it? I have other things to attend to.
But they get the Akihabara.
Yeah.
Veltol has no ID. And the robot is just like, hey, yo, present your ID. He's like, you don't recognize me? And they're like, please present your ID. He's like, I got 3 million followers. You don't know who I am? And they're like, no, sir, please present your ID. But Takahashi has his ID. They scan it. Good to go. Magic Town in Akihabara flourishes because it's like the getting chromed up area. You got your magic gadgets, magic prosthetics, and all sorts of like magic items. And I thought this was really cool because they did references to cyberpunk, not just the game, but just like cyberpunk genre in general, where people are like fully chromed out.
Yeah.
Everything is mechanical except their brains. And then they call them Magiborgs or full Borgs. Veltal says that this wasn't possible 500 years ago. So it's like a very interesting thing to see all of this stuff. So I thought it was cool that they spent a little bit of time to go over that. But they get to Luzel and present their IDs. And they are talking to the chairwoman of the school. I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's Tratte.
Try to go tell.
Yep. So she is there reviewing their IDs. And Takahashi is worried about being found out. And as
freaking out,
they're being asked questions, Veltal just has he's like, you know what, I'm gonna spill all the beans. He's like, yep, we're here to like look at this fucking treasure.
I'm gonna kick this fucking door open down here in your basement. And she's like, how'd you know about that? And he's like, fuck, dude, I'm really dope on the internet. Have you seen me? I've got 3 million subscribers. Like, that's his mentality for everything. He is always the same guy, the same speed at all times. But I appreciate it
because he's just being honest.
Yeah.
He's actually telling the exact truth, not mincing words at all.
Yeah.
They're rewarded because she's like, you know what, that all makes sense.
That checks
you guys are coming to the school. Yeah, good to go.
100%. And also, if you need to know, we can't open the treasury without these 3 items, which are called regalia, by the way. And also, these 3 houses have them. And Takashi's like, shit, dog, we needed nothing. We just got every bit of information we needed. And DL's like, yep, that's how it always goes. Anyways, let's go to class.
Yeah, when you tell the truth, that's what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they have the 3 clans, the Gotel, the Saybird, and the Reynard clans that are supposed to have all 3 pieces of the regalia. The Gotel, which is who she's a part of, she already has the sword. So they got 1 accounted for. The Saybird have the crown. And then the Reynard clan has the orb, but they lost it.
It's currently missing.
So now they have to get the crown from the one clan and then find the orb. So then they can open the treasury to get the Dark Pier records. Veltol says he'll get the other regalia. And she's like, sounds good to me. You get that, I let you in. And he's like, awesome. High five.
Yeah.
And then they meet their head teacher, Mag Rosanta. But Veltol calls her Maguro. And she doesn't like it, but he also doesn't care.
Because of the way that you say it together. Maguro-zanta. And he's like, yeah, Maguro, right? And she's like, my name's not fucking, my name is Mag. It's just, that's great. Banger. Love it.
But then Makina and Takahashi had to remove their familia to get into college. Because this is a magic college that they are focused on the old ways of casting magic. No familias allowed in the classroom. You can have them out of the classroom, but during school, you're not supposed to have them. So Takahashi was complaining about it because she feels naked. But teacher brings them in, and they all introduce themselves. They do their Jiko Shokais.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, in Japanese, it's self-introduction. Veltol and Makina said they learned how to do this from old games and anime.
Yeah.
So they all go in, they all introduce themselves. And then the teacher is like, hey, yo, we got to measure your mana. And then she puts this crystal thing in front of Veltol. And he's like, I'm going to break that shit.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, there's no way you could break it. And then it just explodes.
Also, real quick, the introductions that they do, like Veltol obviously did his at the beginning of the episode. But when Makina does hers, she's like super nervous. And she's just like, yeah, I'm really good at house chores and like cleaning up. And I'm freaking out right now. And then like Takahashi's like the quintessential anime character. Like, hi, I'm fucking Takahashi, double fucking P sign, or double V, really. I was a big fan of the character development.
I think it's similar to the first set of episodes because in the very beginning, you had Veltol, Demon Lord, dies, gets resurrected, and then for 5 episodes, it's just him learning the world. He starts streaming. It's kind of goofy. And then it got serious. So I think they're doing the same formula here, where these episodes, it's goofy. They all start out in high school again.
Yeah.
Self-introductions. But maybe these last few episodes will end up being a little bit more serious. We'll see. But then after all of that, it shows Graham, who is looking over Akihara from some tall structure of some sort.
Oh, I forgot the best line. Sorry. One cannot become a good sorcerer while relying on one's wand.
There's a reference to wand and sword.
It's a reference to dicks.
Oh.
Okay.
But Graham is overlooking Akihabara.
This shot, by the way, is so sick.
It is, yeah. He basically says some other shit, but then more or less he says Meldia is here in Akihabara and he's gonna go find her.
Do you think he's talking to Kinohara?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
100%.
Okay.
So he's found his new,
like little sister
apprentice. Yeah, I guess they're hanging out now. Kinohara, I think she's the kind of lady that wants to serve.
Yeah. She's like, oh, you're a hot dude. I'm a servile young lady. Do you want me to help you with your sword? That's Marcus wanted his blood sword to explode. So, that's literally the dick. Anyways, I can't.
Blood sword to blood explosion. He did say that. Maybe because Kinohara was like, Graham, look at your ugly, flaccid, old ancient sword. I don't want any of that. And then he's like, don't judge a book by its cover. And then he had his shining,
he literally said
Excalibur.
He said it's a grower, not a shower. That's 100% what he said.
That's 100% what Graham said.
Graham and Kinohara living their weird lives, going to Akihabara as well.
Everyone's now in the same town, moved from Shinjuku all the way to Akihabara.
I'm always weird about these mega cities and cyberpunk things because, like, if you look out in this picture we are showing chat, it's just desert out there, right? It's just like a ton of desert. But like, how big is the city truly? Because like these buildings look like city blocks and it looks like a Midgard situation. But like even something like Night City, like driving through in Cyberpunk, you can get from one side to the other pretty quickly. But Night City is a massive sprawling city. It's supposed to be like a state. It's gigantic. These mega cities house millions of people. It's different than what we have in relation. It's like New York. Like New York has so many fucking people there. But like somewhere like Reno, Nevada has 300,000, but it's very spread out. So yeah, I'm just like, I want to know the dimensions because I'm that guy. But anyways, continue on to episode 9.
I would say it's maybe the actual sizes of the cities that they're referencing, because I think these cities are some of the only ones that are still existing, right? Everything else is like a wasteland, which they kind of depict in that faraway shot there.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to grab the other screen.
Episode 9 starts. They're in school. The teacher is having a lesson, basically saying necromancy and summoning a simulacrum is taboo, but spirit channeling is even more taboo by the ethics of modern magic. And Veltol is just sitting there, staring straight ahead, arms crossed, notebook closed, and then the teacher is just like, "Hey, yo, like, how come your book's closed? Why are you taking any notes?" He's like, "I got the shit memorized. I got it on lock." And she's like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yes, I do." And then she asks him question, and he just basically recites everything because he lived it. So they're going over history class, the history of magic.
Yeah.
And he was alive during that time that they are now calling history in school.
Or helped create it.
Yeah. So he's just like, "Oh, you're talking about this guy? Yeah, he did spirit channeling, but then somehow lost himself inside of the hero he was channeling to. Man, that guy was messed up. We used to hang out and do all this other shit." And everyone's like, "Why are you talking about this? like you actually were there."
Yeah.
Because he was.
He fucking was. Yeah.
It is lunchtime now. We see our girl now. Izuki is eating by herself. She's also looking at the Veltol group and thinking, you know what? These guys are pretty fucking weird.
Yeah. I mean, she ain't wrong.
Out of nowhere, some elf dude just rolls up to her table and asks if she's interested in them, and then jabs at her ruined Reynard clan name. He goes on to lecture her about the 3 great houses. She isn't actually noble because her house sucks, basically is what he's saying. He then says that she's just the daughter of some electric town man and some elf. And then he calls half elves shit. Damn. And then she is like, "You know what, Albert, you can say whatever you want about me, but you leave my parents out of this." And then Veltol speaks up and he's like, "Hey, yo, bitch, I'm trying to fucking eat over here. I'm trying to eat some of this young udon."
Hey, everybody shut the fuck up. I don't care about your racism. I'm feasting.
Albert is like, "Who the fuck are you?" And Veltol is like, "What, are you so fucking dumb you can't remember the name of a guy that introduced himself in your class this morning, you dumb piece of shit?" And he says, "Udon should be enjoyed in silence, so you could focus on it. But now it's ruined by his talk of fake nobility." And then Albert says that his live streaming job is fake.
Yeah.
No, you're fake.
That's tough.
That's so tough, Albert,
because we're live right now, and also fuck that kid.
But, yeah. But Albert Haygrams. Veltol remembers the name Haygrams and brings up the founder of the Haygrams family and how he's just an embarrassment to his entire family. He ran from battle. He deserted. He also says that Hizuki has more magic ability than Albert. And then Albert takes off his white glove. Yeah. Slapped. And then he throws it at Veltol and challenges him to a duel. From there, they go to the duel arena, and Hizuki's there, watching on, wondering what the hell is happening. Takahashi and Makina sit next to her and ask her why she's always alone. She says because she's a failure that can't use magic despite her grades being good. Veltol and Albert walk. Yes, sorry. Veltol and Albert walk out, and Veltol calls to Hazuki and says, "Hey, yo, watch this shit." And Albert says that he has the best grades in school. Then Veltol tells him that Hazuki has higher mana everything than he has. Hazuki says that she is an F in mana reserves. And then Machina says, the school is measuring it wrong. If Veltol says you have more than Albert, then you have more than Albert.
It's true.
Veltol says he'll win the duel without taking a step from where he is standing right now. And if he wins, then Albert has to never bother Hazuki again. And if Albert wins, Veltol will do anything that he says, but it doesn't matter because he's not going to lose. So he wants to swear an oath. And he specifically says that, hey, you're of noble blood. You should fucking know the difference between an oath and a difference between the promise and how serious it is. And he's like, yep. On the same page, they swear their oath. And then Veltol tells Albert not to embarrass himself and to shoot Veltol with all of his mana. Because Albert was just going to be like, yeah, I'll just give him a little taste. Just a little
bit.
Just a little something.
Mm-hmm.
And then Veltol's like, nah, I want that whole thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't blame me if you can't take it.
Yeah.
So then Albert casts Aether Arrow with both of his hands extended. And then Veltol just catches it in one hand and says, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. In another 200 years of training, you could be okay. You could be just all right, maybe. And then Veltol takes back what he said about the Haygrims. He said, you know what? They produce some good offspring. And he's like, for your reward, I'm going to blast you with my raw, unadulterated mana. And Machina says it's an honor to take Veltol's mana right to the face. Just straight to the chin, in and around the eyes. It's an honor. So Veltol blasts Albert, and then Albert is just down for the count. His eyes are
covered in mana.
He just can't move because he's just covered in mana.
Yeah. What are you saying, Greg?
Obviously, he's declared the winner.
Yeah.
Hazuki thanks him for defending her, but then she also says to stay away because they'll end up meeting misfortune or something like that.
She's in this anime?
Yes.
Nice joke. Yeah. Anyways.
League of Legends. Takahashi, Veltol, and Machina are walking around and talking about the treasure. Veltol says that they can't just blast open the vault since that's not how ancient magic works. Mm-hmm. Usually, if you do that, the magic is designed to just destroy the contents if forced open. And I believe him because he is a master dungeon crafter.
Yeah.
He knows all about that.
Also, thank you for explaining. Because, you know, when you have the what is it called? The MacGuffins, like the constant MacGuffin where it's just like, hey, this is the key to this, but we don't know how to find it. We found it in 10 seconds. Like that kind of MacGuffinry is silly. I do appreciate them actually giving context to why they just can't just blow something up.
I like it too because it's, to me, I'm sure they didn't mean this, but it is kind of a throwback to old like D&D and even like Baldur's Gate 1, where you could technically like go up to a chest and then just smash it. Mm-hmm. Like you could just break the chest.
Yeah.
But there's a chance that when you break the chest, you're actually going to break the gear that's inside of the chest or the contents that's inside. So even though, yes, you could open chests that way and not have, you know, like a thief to lockpick it and open it normally, you do run a risk of like destroying the contents, which I think is cool that they pointed out in here.
Yes, 100%.
They have to find the regalia. And Veltol says that Hazuki is the head of the family that guards the orb, the Reynards.
Yeah, but the lost orb.
Yeah, the lost orb. Mm-hmm. But he says that basically she's the key to finding the orb because she wants to restore her family's name. Takahashi is like, Veltol, you're so smart. You defended her to get on her good side and then made that dude make this oath so he can't do this thing against her. And you had it all planned out. And he's like, nah, that kid was just a bitch. But yeah, it does end up that way that, yes, it all kind of plays together. Then they walk to Electric Town in Akihabara and Veltol is elated. He's like, man, look at this place. All sorts of shit here.
Is this real? There an Electric Town in Akihabara?
If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they call Akihabara that
Oh, okay.
Electric Town.
Okay, so they're making a reference to what Akihabara is currently
Yeah,
in the
and
future, that it's much bigger than what it is.
in Japan, Akihabara is known for being the town with all of the electronics. So they are kind of making a nod to real life Akihabara. I do feel like back in the day, Akihabara was huge. And I feel like back then, Japan was a leader in electronics.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, I feel like Japan has kind of given up their crown of electronics leader to the Koreans, the LGs and the Samsungs, because I
Yeah.
feel like Sony and Toshiba have kind of fallen out of favor in terms of household electronics.
Yeah, 100%.
That's just me. Anyway, Takahashi is like, hey, we're going to go find some sick intel. And they're like, all right, show me why you said that. She takes them to a maid cafe. And Veltol and Makina are like, you sure about this, Takahashi? And then I like how it's kind of like an otaku thing because she's just like, don't you understand? You're not paying for the dish or you're paying for the drink. You're paying for the dream of having your own maid. And then that other group, that other table of dudes in this picture right here have their arms crossed and they're like, preach, sister. You're right. She's right. But Veltol and Makina were like, yeah, we had maids, but they never did this before.
Yeah.
And Takahashi is like, oh yeah, you two fucks are basically royalty anyway.
Yeah.
Then Takahashi mentioned that one of her friends got kicked out of the maid cafe for harassing a maid. So they just have to be careful. But Veltol remembers that Hizuki told them, stay away from her. And he's like, why did she say that? As Takahashi and Makina are having a conversation, Takahashi is just like, fuck this, dude. Let's order the biggest boob maid that they got. And Makina's like, man, we're in the middle of a conversation. And then they order the biggest boob maid, and it ends up being Hizuki. And then they have the weird realization that they all know each other, and she's in full, like, maid
Regalia?
not regalia, but like in maid mode.
Yeah.
Where she made the full mental mindset. She's talking like a maid.
Yeah.
She's cute. She's doing her cune and all this other shit. And then she realizes, oh shit, these are my classmates. Super embarrassing. And that's how we end. Episode 9.
All in all, Demon Lord's pretty chill. Funny.
It's silly.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I do appreciate the calls to the real world stuff. I mean, Akihabara is pretty much like that. How she did the hacking is pretty realistic.
Yeah.
Even the depiction of the maid cafes is fairly accurate for what you do and what you kind of get from going there.
Yeah.
All in all, I do like the subtle nods to the world we live in today. But if I had to look at it straight from the story perspective, I'm like, dude, okay, you just had this giant thing about like fucking immortals literally being sacrificed to fuel the city that we live in today. You got backstabbed by your boy Marcus that is doing all of this crazy stuff. You like, okay, you kill him, you dethrone him, save the immortals, figure out what to do for energy production. I'm a high school kid now.
Yeah. It's
and
literally
you're like, okay.
like the manga titles. They go from town to town having different adventures, and they just go across Japan. That's it.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think it'll probably get a little more serious, maybe.
I mean, I think everything's compartmentalized. Like, I don't really see there being like what's the overarching story of Demon Lord 2099? He wants to be the Demon Lord again and like unite people. Is he just going to follow the error of his ways? Or is he learning how to interact with normal people and just he's going to be a great leader of the entire world and send everybody into the future and it's going to be awesome?
Maybe.
Like,
I mean,
you know,
it was
it's
insinuated like, when he was talking to Graham and how Graham, when they were going down the elevator, he mentioned like how much he's changed where, you know, he did mention that like, oh, Veltal, you were ruthless and like a crazy dude back then, but you've definitely changed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think you're right. The foundational story is Demon Lord wants to reinstate his power and take over the world. Now I think it's a question of once he takes over the world, how is he going to rule? And I think that's what they're going to go with, where he is now a cooler dude and he's going to rule not with an iron fist, but with an open heart
and a caring palm. Yeah, cool. I mean, it's just like that's the whole thing is like the adventures of how he gets there. And I think that it's very slice of lifey in if they're gonna do everything being compartmentalized. Like if they go city to city and it's just this adventure and then we never fucking talk about Marcus ever again. It feels like that's what's gonna happen. They accumulated so many people in Shinjuku, but now in Akihabara, maybe what was her name? Oh my god,
She look like
the heterochromia girl, the main girl.
Kizuki.
Yeah, if she ends up in the next town they go to with them, I wouldn't be surprised. And because like Graham and Kinohara come together, like come along, or maybe Graham and Kinohara just like peace out, find a village somewhere, and just live life. I don't know, but it seems very almost formulaic, but it's still funny.
I'm enjoying it. But in terms of like long-term story, the speed at which they're going, I feel like if they want to, I don't know, end it and like wrap up, they're gonna have to do like a time skip, because the way they're going right now is way too slow.
Yeah,
but I mean, I'm along for the ride.
Yep,
I don't mind it. When I see that the episode was posted, it's not like, oh man, can't wait to gorge myself on this. It's just kind of like, yeah, I'll catch it after I watch Dan to Dan. Yeah, basically. So
I have to watch everything first before I watch Dan to Dan because, like, you know, it's like a treat to watch Dan to Dan for me. It's like
you don't want to spoil your dinner with dessert.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, oh man, I gotta watch some anime. I gotta do this. And I'll be like, but I get to watch Dan to Dan. That's how my brain works. So that, and this is made watching like us doing the show together has made watching anime so much more enjoyable for me because getting to experience the show and then talk about it is like my favorite thing to do. So Demon Lord, I don't really know how it's gonna wrap up. I think they're gonna finish this arc really quickly because like what do you do in 2 episodes? Like
I don't know, and that's what I mean in the beginning where I don't know how these shows are gonna wrap up because with Demon Lord technically they have 3 episodes, so you have 3 episodes to wrap up. So is it just going to be like next episode, you find the orb? Episode 11 is you talk to the other family and then they give you the thing.
Yeah.
And now you have all 3 pieces. Episode 12, you're going to open the treasure room and then get the book.
And then it's just going to tell you.
Is that how the season's going to end?
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're 100% right.
So I mean, they might be setting up for season 2. I don't know if it's greenlit yet. But if it is, that's probably what they're setting up for.
I don't know if it is. Let me go check.
But you guys know what is cleared for season 2 is 2.5 dimensional seduction. But then we have Ranma. It's the day of the competition. Yoga gets to Coal Holes High School and decides he needs to pair with Akane. But then Ranma jumps in and just splashes him with some water, turns him into Peachan. There you go, Peachan, Yoga, you're not doing shit. Rame gets to the men's changing room, and Mikado is there, and they have some banter back and forth about their battle at the skating rink. And then Mikado says that no matter what, he is going to steal a kiss from Akane's lips during the match.
100%.
And Ranma asks him if that's all he thinks about, and he says yes. As a matter of fact, my head is full of those thoughts constantly, and they never stop.
Wow.
So the Charlotte Cup is what they call this competition.
Dude, it's so good. The picture of Ryoga Peachan on the wall with the flowers and the pink eyelashes.
Matching his pink collar.
Yeah.
Yes. So the Charlotte Cup starts. And giant mural of Ryoga as Peachan / Charlotte.
With the hardtail.
Mikado and Azusa skate out and show off their skills.
Yeah.
Ranma tells Akane to watch out for Mikado, and then they skate out. Ranma picks up Akane, but he still can't skate, so he just breaks his back and lands on his head and then slides around while holding Akane above him.
Yeah. They meant to do this. This was a glorious, beautiful moment for our characters.
And then after they get out there, the match starts immediately. Mikado goes in for the kiss. Ranma tries to stop him, but as he tries to stop him, Azusa literally Ongbak double knees him like out of the way.
Yeah.
Akane throws Mikado, and he just like quadruple backflips away, lands perfectly.
Yeah.
And number one, they're fighting with ice skates, and they're literally just like spin kicking each other.
Yeah,
like
just roadhousing each other across
Yeah,
the
that's-
mouth. Like,
extremely dangerous.
yes, don't do
I don't
that,
know how
please.
no one was like cut in the filming of this episode, because I've been ice skating a couple times, and I can remember the very first time that I went ice skating.
Yes.
It was when I was a youth and with one of our friends, and his
Our boy.
parents took us out to ice skate.
Mhm.
And I'm putting on my ice skates. They were laces back then. I don't know if new age ice skates are still laces.
I would
But
say.
you had to lace them up. And as a 7-year-old kid, when you're trying to like tighten your laces, you basically hold the laces with your hands and then you push your foot forward so you can just kind of like get the ultimate leverage on pulling those laces tight. Right?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I did. I grabbed my laces, I lift my foot out, I extended my leg, and then I just cut his knee wide open.
Oh.
Because he was sitting in front of me.
Oh.
Because we were both just like putting it. So I just kicked my skate out and just like cut through his pants and then just cut his knee. And then his parents obviously had to help him. And then I skated away. So
You did not skate away.
I did go ice skating.
Oh, okay. Wait, did you go ice skating afterward?
No, I don't think he ice skated that day.
Ah.
Because his knee was cut.
How bad? Did you fucking sever all of his tendons in his knee?
It was his kneecap. So we were sitting, so our legs are at 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Just imagine that someone like dragged a knife across your
kneecap. Bro. Okay, anyways. All right.
So that's why I'm just like, damn, how are they fighting in ice skates? Because that's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ranma throws Akane into the air and is able to land a punch on Mikado.
Right in the tum-tum.
Yeah, but then he can't stop. So he punches him, can't stop, won't stop.
Flip time.
Grabs Akane, and Akane's like, you got to stop. He's like, I don't know how. And then he wall rides the skating rink walls, does a double backflip, and then just lands flat on his feet. Mikado gets up and says he'll steal a kiss. And Ranma said that Akane is his fiance and he isn't going to let him do shit.
Yeah, back the fuck off, bro.
Mikado says fiance, that's too fragile. And him and Azusa are also known as the match-breaking pair on ice. And then they unleash their secret technique called the Couples Crusher.
The image that for the Couples Crusher where the guy is like screaming into the microphone with passion. Oh man, there's so many good stills in this episode. It's just so good.
That announcer is he's solid too.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
They do the Couples Crusher. Azusa lands in Ranma's arms and kisses his nose. And then Akane comes to stop her, but then Mikado is there. And he just somehow picks everyone up just from like Ranma's legs. Like Ranma's holding Azusa, and then Akane comes, and then he somehow picks everyone up just like via Ranma.
Yeah.
And then starts spinning them around in the Couples Crusher.
Like Zangief.
Yeah, like straight up SBD.
Yeah.
Just going for a ride.
Yeah.
And I guess the whole point of the Couples Crusher is like, if you're holding the hands of the person you're with, they're going to make you stop holding hands, which is going to
and literally throw your partner to their death and then be like, yeah, obviously they didn't hold on to you hard enough. You come hang out with me. That's the whole plan. Like,
but Akane is like, Ranma, let me go. He's like, no, I'll never let you go. And then she's like, no, just fucking let me go. Yeah. And then he's just like, there's not enough room on it.
Yeah, Jack and Rose totally.
Yeah. Like. Azusa is the one that actually can't keep holding them. Mm-hmm. So she lets go, and then Ranma shields Akane, and then they slam into a wall, basically breaking all of his bones.
Yes.
Akane thought Ranma was knocked out, and then got sad. But then he got back up, and she's like, what the fuck? Why wouldn't you say anything and just make me sad?
Yeah.
But then he just tried to play it cool, and it was like, don't worry, I got this.
Yeah.
He jumps up, but then his pain just shoots through his entire body.
All his bones are broken.
Yeah, apparently. And he does that thing like a cat does, where like the little squiggly like rides up their back or whatever.
Yeah.
So Ryoga / Hichan escapes because he was chained to the Charlotte Cup.
Yeah.
And he's able to transform back into the human form, and now is his chance to take the stage.
Dude, I saw this image and I was like, Ryoga is the Terminator. Terminator 2 Ryoga in the rafters, ready to fuck shit up. He just arrived and steaming, and this image right here kills me. I was like, okay, I have to get this as a still. This is perfect.
Akane tells Ranma not to push himself. And then Ranma is just like, nah, I do what I want, bitch. And then Ryoga cuts the lights. And then he hits Ranma with the cold water.
Mm-hmm.
But then he thinks that Ranma is Akane. And then Ryoga takes Akane and like throws her out of the thing. And it's like, hey, yo, Akane, it's you and me now.
Yeah.
Lights turn back on. And it's actually Ryoga and Ranma in girl form. So Mikado sees girl Ranma. And he has this little silly flashback of, I guess, how he perceives how their first kiss went or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just so hard to describe these like scenes. It's if like a child drew an animation with crayons all outside of the lines and everything. That's how Mikado's mind works, I guess. Ryoga tries to swap Ranma out for Akane.
Ranma's not having that. He's like, no, we're going to do this and we're going to do it together. You dumb bitch. Like,
and then the Cole Holes high school makeup team come out and give both Ryoga and Ranma a makeover.
Yeah.
And they have new outfits and everything. Yeah. So Mikado goes to Akane and tells her he will take her out on a date after the match and kisses her hand. And then Ryoga throws Ranma at Mikado.
Yeah.
But then Azusa sees Ryoga with the Charlotte name tag and is like, you're Charlotte, aren't you?
Yeah.
And he's like, nah.
Hey, don't be weird. I am not Charlotte.
I just like how no one even makes the connection yet.
Yeah, none.
But it's the same with Ranma. Like, how has no one made the connection that girl Ranma and boy Ranma are the same guy?
Yeah, right.
Or girl. And he calls out to Akane and says that she's not cute. And then she says she hates him. And then he grabs her hand and decides that Ryoga and him will take them down. So neither of them can skate, Ryoga or Ranma. Mikado and Azusa do the couples crusher move again. Ryoga and Ranma let go of each other immediately, so their couple's dreams are crushed forever.
Oh no!
And then Azusa suplexes Ryoga,
just fucks his shit up.
And then Mikado catches Ranma and says that he's now his boyfriend. So Ryoga gets mad at the rink, and he's like, "If this ice wasn't here, I'd be able to fuck these dudes up." And then he literally just punches through the earth and then just makes little... He basically turned it into a Pokemon stadium. He broke the ice, and now there's a swimming pool underneath. So now you have icebergs floating on the water. And then, obviously, Ryoga didn't think about it, because now he's like, oh shit, if I fall into the water, I'm going to turn into Pichon. And then he has this little mental image of him turning into Pichon, and then Akane realizing he's Pichon.
Yeah.
And then calling him, you know, like, oh... You just wanted to sleep with me as a little pig, you fucking weirdo.
Yep.
And then, so now he's worried that Akane's going to hate him.
Yep.
And then Ranma's like, I don't give a shit, dude. I'm already in girl form. You fucked yourself.
Yeah.
But then he tells him, all right, we got to fight these guys, and you got to fight for Akane. And then they get serious.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that takes us into episode 10. So it starts off with our heroes. They're squared up with Mikado and Azusa. Skate battle continues. Ranma is still hurt from the couples crusher from before, but he attacks Mikado. Mikado catches him and says that he shouldn't be jealous of Akane because he has a special talent.
He's got enough love for everybody.
And his special talent is to love all women equally.
Yeah.
So don't worry, he'll take care of it.
I do love, there's a good throwback. That suit is a very 80s suit. Like, that suit is the big leg suit, the big shoulders, like the open breasted suit. That is the most 80s suit I've seen in a long time. And I really enjoy it.
Do you remember women's suits were like that? I remember my mom had like a suit jacket, and they literally just had like armored shoulder pads. And I'm just like, why are your shoulders so big? But apparently that was the style back then.
I've watched enough Miami Vice to know. I've seen enough Don Johnson.
Azusa is holding on to Ryoga and telling him that he's Charlotte and he should go with her. But Ryoga tells her that he let Charlotte go. Yeah. He kept the necklace as a keepsake. And then Azusa goes quiet. And then gets insane strength and launches Ryoga.
Yeah.
Ranma and Ryoga meet up and say that they have to come up with a plan. Even though they don't want to work together, they got to prioritize winning. They whisper a plan. And then Ranma starts acting like Ryoga cheated on him or something.
Yeah, and just starts blasting him in the face.
Ryoga tells Ranma that, like, oh, you just turn violent all the time. And then he, like, jumps away. Ranma pretends Ryoga left him. And now he's all alone. And the only one that really loves him is Mikado. And Mikado jumps over to Ranma's rescue. But then he takes a bait, and Ranma throws him. And then Ryoga trips him, and then Mikado falls into the water. Silly guy. Azusa then does the same thing to Ranma and Ryoga. And they're like, you would double team a poor girl like me? And they're like, damn, yeah, I guess she's right. She's able to go on the offensive with them being distracted, but then Ryoga is able to do the forehead flick.
Yeah, blasts her right in the forehead.
But the match isn't over. Mikado and Azusa are riding ice chunks into Ranma and Ryoga.
They're fucking curling.
They're playing bumper cars with ice chunks that they're skating on or something. Yeah. So Ranma tells Ryoga to stop trying to show off for Akane.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why he can't beat him is because he just keeps showing off. Ryoga starts just launching glaciers at Ranma. And then after he launches the glaciers, he catches Ranma and he's like, watch this. And then he suplexes him into the ice, splitting it in half.
Mm-hmm.
And they fall into the fissures of this glacier he just created using Ranma's head.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just holding themselves above the water, doing the splits with their ice skates.
Yeah.
And then Azusa jumps on top of them, and then they start to pile on top, and then Ryoga is like, oh shit, the water is like right there, and Ranma's holding everyone up, and then Mikado's like, hey yo, don't forget about me.
Yeah.
Ryoga calls for Akane to give him strength. And then he somehow rips both of the sides of the glacier like fucking closed.
Yeah.
So I don't even physics wise how this happened.
I don't understand.
So he literally closes the glacier on top of all four of them.
Yeah.
And launches the glacier out of the water like a fucking cannonball or some shit.
I also don't know how that happened. Like zero leverage, but you know, cartoons.
And then he just launches them with their all inside. After he throws the glacier, the match ends. Azusa and Mikado are done. But the match isn't over for Ranma and Ryoga.
Yeah, they're like...
And they're still fighting over Akane. And then Akane is just like, all right, you two, just fucking quit it. Why are you guys even fighting anyway? And then they have a little silly exchange where they don't want to admit why they're fighting.
Mikado's getting taken away on the stretcher, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Azusa comes up and she's like, that blanket you have is fucking adorable. Give me that. And he's like, no, I'm cold. Get the fuck off me. And she's like, listen here, you dumb bitch. And then she grabs a fucking chair and WWE blasts this motherfucker across the head and then takes the blanket for herself.
Names the blanket Martine.
Because she's insane.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that definitely happened. But then Ranma and Ryoga are still fighting. And again, this is the thing where like Akane is just collateral damage. She got her hair cut off because these two are fighting.
Yep.
Now these two are fighting again, and then they break the ice, and Akane falls into the frozen waters of the swimming pool.
Into the tundra.
And she can't swim. Ranma and Ryoga both dive in to save her, but Ryoga is like, oh,
wait a second.
I will turn into a pig. And he turns into a pig.
He fucked up.
But then Akane wakes up in the nurse's office. Ranma hands her Pichon and is just like, here, take this shit.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, you know what, Ryoga, let's cool it for a little bit. We'll figure this shit out later.
Yep.
And then for some reason, in the fucking nurse's area, the wall just starts to cave in. And they're just like, what the fuck is this? And then it just blasts it open. And we see a new character.
Yes.
Shampoo. And she's here to kill Ranma.
She's gonna fucking murder him. But in girl form. In girl form.
She attacks Ranma. Mm-hmm. But he's able to dodge and hide in the lockers. And then Shampoo's like, where'd he go? And Akane's like, over there. And then
he ran outside.
She runs outside. Yeah. And then she goes to follow him.
Yeah.
And then Akane is like, hey, is there history between you? And he's like, yes. And then she said, oh, she's really pretty. And then he's like, that's all you got to say? She's trying to kill me. Yeah. Why are you fucking worried about this shit?
She's got a fucking blood feud, brother. Like, I'm going to die if I'm in girl form around this woman. Please help me. Anyway.
But it flashes back to when Ranma and Genma were in China, and this is after the Cursed Pond incident.
Mm-hmm.
Their tour guide is taking them to the Chinese Amazon, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
In the Chinese Amazon, there's just a bunch of warrior women fighting in a martial arts tournament.
Yeah.
And Shampoo is the winner. Ranma and Genma are super hungry, and they see all of this food and they just start chowing down.
Yeah.
And then
As you
Shampoo is like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Man, we're hungry." She's like, "Why are you eating my first place prize of a giant feast?" And then Ranma is just like, "Oh, yeah, sorry about that. If I beat you, then that means that this is my feast, right?"
Yep.
And then they're like, "Okay." And then they square up, and then Ranma just kicks her, and she's dead.
Yeah. Instantly.
But then afterwards, she gets up, she walks over to Ranma, and then she just gives him a little peck on the cheek. And then the tour guide freaks out.
He's explaining this. Yeah, he's explaining it to Akane.
Yeah.
And she's like, "But you both are girls." And then he's like, No. You don't understand. It's the kiss of death.
He's like, "Let me cook."
Yeah.
"Let me cook. I'm not done yet."
Yeah.
So then the tour guide said that Shampoo just gave Ranma the kiss of death, which is a deadly pledge to chase whoever got kissed to the depths of hell. And then she chased Ranma and Genma all the way from China to Japan. Yeah.
All over China and then now to Japan.
So they finally get home and they're like, "Oh, Ranma, you have a guest." And he's like, "Who the fuck could that be? That's crazy." But now Ranma's in guy form.
Yep.
And she's never seen Ranma in guy form. So Ranma walks in and is like, "Oh, shit. Shampoo's here." And then Ryoga is like, "Hey, yo, let me help you get change, bitch, with this bucket of water."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Dude, Ryoga, what are you doing?" And then Shampoo starts attacking. And Ranma is like, "Dude, stop causing trouble in other people's houses." And then he like roundhouse kicks her club into the wall. It ricochets and then hits her in the head. And then she gets knocked out. And then everyone's like, "Ranma, look at you. You're so good at winning. All you do is win. Like, you can't stop winning."
Can't stop winning.
And then he's like, "Oh, shit." He's like, No, I didn't win. I didn't win. Shampoo. No, that was, you won. Good job. You did it." And then she comes up and plants one just right on the lips.
Right on the face.
Yeah.
A different style of kiss, not the kiss of death.
Different style of kiss. Yeah, it's a kiss of life.
Oh, okay.
I just made that up. I don't know if that's what it's called.
Okay, yeah. We don't know what it's called yet, but
yeah.
All in all, adorable. Loving Ranma. I think it's so much stupid fun. And like this episode, obviously, like they've gone through a lot of characters that are in love with Akane and then in love with like female Ranma. And like you have the what's his name's sister is in love with male Ranma. But now we get like a second character that's in love with male Ranma. So you get a little bit extra, a little bit of sauce. Who knows what happens next? It's just silly fun.
It is, because Tatewaki likes Akane.
Mm-hmm.
Ryoga likes Akane.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have Kodachi, who likes Ranma. And then you have Shampoo, who likes Ranma.
Yep.
So now you have basically 2 and 2 for each of the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just more silliness will ensue. And I think that's the thing for me. I would struggle to even call it like a romantic comedy. It has romantic comedy elements.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say it's more comedy than anything.
Yeah.
It's just straight comedy.
Yeah.
But what really keeps me is this updated retro art style.
Yeah.
Like how they have like brought Ranma into like the modern animation age has basically been a giant plus for me.
Yeah.
Like that's really what's keeping me going here. The story is fun. Characters are fun. All of that is fun, but I think I really enjoy the updated retro animation. And I think they did a really good job with it.
Oh, it's fantastic. I'm enjoying the updated animation and also like enjoying like just the silliness of it, because a lot of the shows that I watch, like Demon Lord and Ranma, are the exception. Usually I watch more serious stuff. I watch shonens or My Hero or something like that, or Demon Slayer. To me, this is just a breath of fresh air. When I was growing up, Dragon Ball was it. And it was supposed to be a more serious show other than the rampant sexual harassment in Dragon Ball. But otherwise, like You had more serious elements of characters dying, like Trunks and the whole Cell saga. That stuff's intense, right? And then you have Ranma. It's just like, I didn't realize that Japan, like, you know, when you don't understand the world around you and you think that things are secular when it comes to things that you consume. Like, I watch children's cartoons on Nickelodeon and on Cartoon Network. There's a massive difference between like Looney Tunes and Ranma, but there isn't realistically. Like, they're just from two different sides of the world, where you have the slapstick comedy of Looney Tunes and all the people that were invested in that, and then you have Ranma and all the people that were invested in this silly ass shit. And it's like, to me, it's like if Looney Tunes came back, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like the jokes would be the same ever, because there was some serious fucked up shit in Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes itself was just as sexual as Ranma, because you know, everyone's just like, oh, look at Ranma, like they have Barbie bodies, no nipples. But then look at Looney Tunes.
How many times did Bugs Bunny dress up as a sexy bunny to try and get Elmer Fudd?
Yeah, exactly. Like, right? You have that. You have Pepe Le Pew and whatever the female skunk was.
Who cares? Pepe Le Pew was...
Yeah, you had Jessica. Yeah, Pepe Le Pew, he was a womanizer. Then, like, that's what his whole character was.
And
you had...
And stereotypically racist as well. Like, Pepe Le Pew...
He was French.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is to that character... consuming that as an American person, I can't imagine as a French adult watching Pepe Le Pew and you're like, is that how Americans view us? Like, that's fucked up, man. Like,
I would probably laugh. And sometimes it's the same for other countries. They just think America is like
cheeseburgers,
cowboy hat, cowboy boots, big old steak, John Wayne. It's silly.
That's what Japan thinks we are. Everybody else, the rest of the world is like, they're just fat and stupid.
Oh, yeah, and their healthcare sucks. That's what
yeah. And,
but you know whose healthcare also sucks?
Is Bleach?
Yes. Kudotsuchi, episode 9.
Hold on, let me bring up the right.
Yeah.
The right
or
picture.
Mayuri, whoever. Like, sometimes they call them by their first name, sometimes they call them by their given name.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It depends on who is saying it, really.
Yeah.
Because some people use honorifics in that show too. So we open up with episode 9. We have Kyoraku with the team running away from Lily Barrow. Dude has been blasting holes in people. We stopped the Kuratsuchi thing. Like, his fight is on hold for a moment. Oh, yeah. It does open up on them. Sorry. It opens up with a baby getting blasted in half from Pernida. Pernida figures out how to beat the baby that he ate, or he got eaten by, and blasts it open. And then we go to Lily Barrow and Kyoraku. And
another literal jarring cut where it's just like, baby explodes, sniper time. That's literally how fast it went.
So there's one thing that I do like about this episode a lot. It's been years of me wanting to see like more Captain Bankais, because they don't really show it to you. And then, like, even when they were doing the fake Karakura Town arc, a bunch of the captains had to go fight Arrancar, and it was like, none of it mattered. Literally, Kyoraku just fucked around with Stark, who's supposed to be like incredibly powerful. Like, and a lot of the Arrancar characters are supposed to be captain level or beyond. And the captains are just like, Karakura Town was not it for me. But I get it. I understand why they had to do it. But it felt like Kubo didn't really know how he wanted to do things and who he really wanted to show the powers of. I think because he didn't know what they were. And like, he kind of later on was like, oh, you know, Kyoraku, when he was fighting Stark, it's like children's games. How do I bring that further? How do I write that? How do I bring his Bankai further? And so, like, we finally see Kyoraku doing something. Even Ukitake having the fucking, like, God, what was the name of it? Oh my God, we said it 100,000 times.
Mimihagi?
Mimihagi, yeah. The Mimihagi thing. Ukitake was such a cool character to me. It reminded me of, what's his name from Samurai Showdown? Ukyo Tachibana from Samurai Showdown. The guy who has tuberculosis. He's always sick, but he's this awesome samurai. He doesn't let his sickness decide his life. That was Ukitake to me. And then, like, all of a sudden, like, Ukitake's just like fucking gone. Mimi Hagi out of the fucking stratosphere. And then Mimi Hagi just gets fucking riggedy rolled. It's just all these things are just like boom, boom, boom. We finally get an episode of Kyoraku doing something the entire episode. It jump cuts in the beginning, but then you have a full episode. In showing that these fights are happening at the same time is also important because like the Koretsuchi fight is on the other side of this area. So Kyoraku is running with the people and he's like, okay, we've got to do something about Lilibaro. Everybody's just getting blasted. And he like turns around to be like, hey, I'm going to fuck your shit up. You don't know who I am, but I know who you are. And then just gets a fucking hole blasted through his chest and does a weird wiggle dance as he's falling over. Everybody's like, oh shit. He is dead as fuck. Which also, like, the other characters that got shot, like, where are they at and what happened? Like,
maybe they did the same thing. Maybe they're playing a good old round of Daruma-san Koronda.
I'm
right?
glad.
Maybe they're playing the game too. Who fucking knows?
So I don't think that. No. That's not what happens. Right.
Are you sure? Because like, did they literally just kill off like half of the lieutenants just from the gunshots?
They probably bring a few of them back.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, did they show the guy with the 69 tattoo? Did they show his Bankai yet?
No.
They haven't shown his Bankai yet?
No.
Okay.
Not in 1,000-Year Blood War.
Okay, yeah, he comes back. But anyway, like, no, spoiler alert, he probably comes back. Anyways, so you have this showdown. Your main dude gets blasted instantaneously. Lilibaro's like, dude, why would you fucking stop? And then all of a sudden, he's behind him, teleports behind you, nothing personnel kid, cuts his gun in half, and he's like, whoa, like, how did you do that? I literally can see everything. That is my power. This is who I am. And he's like, I don't know if you know who the fuck I am. I'm the captain of the Gote 13. So we get the actual beginning of Kyoraku taking somebody somewhat more seriously. You get the child's game, which is basically a different version of hide and seek. They both kind of explain, like, he explains his Shikai to Lilibaro, and he just stands there and he's like, yeah, that's called chocolate rains or whatever it's fucking called in my
chocolate rain.
Yeah. Is that what it's called? I forgot what it was.
Yep.
Some stay dry and others feel the pain. Just so you know.
Man, whoever gets that reference, let's go. Yeah.
We're so old. Anyways, so he starts explaining all the rules to his Shikai. He plays different games with different people, but this one in particular, he is using his Reiatsu to like show images, because I guess in this world, when you're fighting somebody, you can see both their power and their person, and you stop perceiving the difference between the two. So you're always just seeing their Reiatsu. Yeah. He's putting his Reiatsu in different places and then moving. And it's weird because he keeps saying, he's like, no, you shot me by your definition of what it is. And so it's like this perceived reality. And so he keeps just getting holes just fucking blasted at him right through the chest. And then he just rolls up and he's like, all right, let's stop fucking around.
You know what's silly is because they spend all of this time going over the rules of their red light, green light that they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they basically just have some dick measuring contest of whose abilities are better and who, like, oh, I see you, but you don't see me.
Yeah.
I see you, see me.
Yeah.
The whole spiritual pressure vision bullshit. I like how they spent all that time and then they're just like, let's just play a different game.
Well, okay. Yes and no. But Lilibaro's like, oh, during that time, you would have killed me, but you made me open my other eye 3 times. And once my other eye is open for the 3rd time, it does not close until the combat is done and somebody's fucking dead. And then he opens his eye and Quincy explodes all over the place. And
okay, it's just like fucking Bleach. Some of this stuff is like Kyoraku can move physically faster than his spiritual presence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you're basically having the after image, because it's like, oh, his spiritual presence is here,
mm-hmm.
but his physical body is here.
Mm-hmm.
So you're moving in such a way to where like you're creating I don't want to say a copy of yourself, but then part of you is staying over here.
He says that
the
he
other part
leaves
is
his
moving
power behind.
Yeah. If that is the case, and he's able to literally jump Sniper Man on top of his clock tower.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck are we running around on foot in the streets?
Dude, been saying that.
Everyone's getting sniped. Everyone's dying. And then it's just, okay, how many people have to die before I just teleport somewhere?
Right. It's like instant transmission in Dragon Ball. It's like, why is nothing instant transmission? Even like they'll have like fights where you're like, do punch back and forth. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, brother, you can move in fractions of a second. What are we doing? Is this slowed down so the viewer can see it, or what's going on? Like, it's super fucked up. I don't like how they don't explain why you don't get to the place that you're going when these characters have this much power. It is an issue of power.
It's just out of convenience of the story.
It's so people can talk while running, and it's like, you don't need to do that because they can teleport. They could be standing still and they don't need to all be running, right? You can have this conversation in a room where they're like, okay, what do we do? How do we do this? What do we need to do next? And then somebody fucking teleports away. That's all you need to do. You're making a running sequence for the sake of making a running sequence. That's what frustrates me with this stuff.
Let's count the amount of things that don't matter. Number one, the rules of the first game that Kyoraku put out literally doesn't matter.
Not anymore.
The second thing that doesn't matter, the fact that Sniper Man, his gun is made out of his own spirit energy. Mm-hmm. So he always has his gun with him. Mm-hmm. And after his Barrett 50 cal got cut in half, he switches his loadout Call of Duty to the AK, right? Which also doesn't matter.
I thought he just made his gun again.
No, it's a rifle. He changed it into a rifle, not a sniper rifle. So he changed what his gun was. Then Kyoraku uses his shadows and is able to fucking stab him or something.
Oh, he goes to stab him through the ground and he's the only person.
He uses his axis of evil powers to make himself invulnerable. Then what you said, when he opens his eye 3 times during the battle, his eyes always stay open.
Yes.
He said he's the closest thing to a god because Yuha made him first.
Yes.
And then his eyes wide open, turns on his Axis power Swiss cheese butterfly that shoots invisible instant kill shots.
Yes.
Everything that happened before that Swiss cheese monster instant kill shot butterfly doesn't matter. His gun being part of his Ryatsu. The fucking rules of the game, the dick measuring contest, the fucking shadows, none of this shit fucking matters anymore. So then Kyoraku is injured from his instant kill butterfly Swiss cheese shot from Sniper Guy. But then Sniper Guy can also just fucking apparently teleport wherever he wants because Kyoraku's like literally behind a bunch of fucking shit and then he's just like, surprise, bitch.
Hold on, you're getting ahead of yourself. So Kyoraku is like, I need to have some exposition. He has a moment of respite in the battle because he needs to talk to the audience. He's on the other side of a building and then he's like, my exposition is now done. Now you are allowed to blow up the building. Building explodes from behind him. He's like, oh, that almost got me. Even though as soon as he went into his Sternritter form, or it's called something else, but as soon as he went into his form, he had a hole in his shoulder, a hole in his stomach, and then had another, it was like 3 shots hit him instantaneously after Lilibaro turned into a goat deer butterfly form. And
he hasn't even turned into the deer yet. He's still butterfly form at this point in time.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. He didn't unravel his feet. So literally all of this is like the exposition happens and then Kyoraku's like, I guess it's time for me to get serious. They kind of teleport. He goes into a building. Lilibaro teleports there and he's like, I can use Kido. And it's like, shut the fuck up. You know that you can't use Kido. You just thought this would look cool. Does like a spin slash with the swords to give him some time. And he's like, I doubt that did damage. And then he gets away for a second.
Well, he did use Kido. He uses Hado Nanajuhachi Zangerin and then does his little like fucking Rings of Saturn explosion, which doesn't do fucking shit.
Yes.
Right?
But it gives him enough time.
Yeah, it does give
it gives him enough time for after this many years, we have the animated Bankai of Kyoraku.
No, before that, it cuts to Ichigo and
It does.
Running Man.
Oh yeah. For like a second, it cuts to them, and
I
they're
know.
like,
And then he's like, Ichigo, you're resistant to Ryatsu poisoning. Like,
yeah, and he's like,
fucking imagine that. And
he's
then,
like, did you
I'm
hang out
sorry.
with Ichibei and the monks?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, how'd you know? And he's like, because you're resistant to Ryatsu poisoning. Guess I got to use something else. And then he puts up the 4 balls in between his fingers. Anyways,
And then,
and then
I
it
just
goes
wanted
back.
to point out, right?
Yep.
This is how Bleach, you get these
It's
jarring cuts. Why the fuck did you decide to show Ichigo at that point in time?
It's because of this. So Kyoraku's Bankai is indiscriminate. Everybody's known this for a long time. This is why they say that he cannot use his Bankai anywhere where people are. Because if he does, everyone is now in the play and everyone is an actor and there are rules to each act. What frustrated me is how fast they go through this, because his Bankai is pretty important when it comes to like how it's discussed.
It's a domain expansion.
It is a literal domain expansion. Like literally why Gege Akatami made domain expansions is probably because of Kyoraku's Bankai. No fucking joke. So he does his Bankai and it expands outward. He malevolent shrines the shit out of this place. Turns the entire area like a yellow tint.
It's the backdrop of the play.
Yeah, and everyone's like, yo, wait, what the fuck just happened? This is insane. Like, we've never all been experiencing this at the same time, and now I'm back on board for Bleach. I've been waiting for this. This is exciting for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck.
This is where you they got you back on board?
Yeah, 100% back on board. Because I love
sure?
Kyoraku's.
Like, there was Swiss cheese sniper guy, he grew some legs,
Who
and now
gives a
he's
fuck?
a deer. And Kyoraku was like, hey, it's dark in here, or is it just me? Swiss cheese man shoots stuff and blows pieces in the platform, but he's now injured.
So when the first act of the play is any damage that has been done is done to the other person. Literally, if Kyoraku...
Sticks and stones.
Yes.
Sticks and stones.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
So this is like apparently a famous play from a bygone era. It's like him reciting Shakespeare, almost.
Yeah.
So if Kyoraku decided to just cut himself or just kill himself, it would technically put them both on the brink of death. And you cannot die, but you can do any sort of damage to yourself, and it would do it to the opponent. It's vice versa. If they do damage to you, it happens to them. The second act of the play begins the plague of shame, where whatever he is feeling, Lily Barrow kind of like exudes that in his own body. Any sort of fear, any sort of guilt, any sort of shame, which is what he's implying is the shame is now like a pox upon Lily Barrow.
Cheese guy gets moldy.
He does. This is a real thing. Is that in your notes, Greg?
It is in my
So
Yeah.
Lily Barrow is having a struggle bus. He doesn't understand the powers. There's nobody around to steal the Bankais. It's just him against this literally impossibly strong Bankai.
I'm with him too. I have no idea what's going on.
Reality warping Bankai, right?
Yeah.
So
no one knows.
He's like, dude, this is crazy talk. And then we get to Act 3.
It's the Severing Abyss.
Yes. So the Severing Abyss. So they get the water. It submerges everybody. But this is like it isn't like normal water where you can like go to the top.
Swim out. Yeah.
You cannot swim out. And that's a rule in this play. One of them dies here. This is the rule. Like, it's either Kyoraku dies from drowning in his own Reiatsu and it dissipates, or the other person dies. There is another rule that is not explained in the show very well. It's that if you struggle, your Reiatsu leaves you like 20 times faster. So
he literally paralyzed berserked him.
He did. But then
and he's moving and he's dying.
He's trying to get to the top. Lily Barrow is afraid for his life. He doesn't understand what's going on. He starts climbing to the top. His Reiatsu is almost drained. And then it gets to the act 4 of the play where Ohana, which is the name of his sword is actually not Ohana. It's really long, but he calls it Ohana because they've had sex. Okay. This is not implied. This is a real thing. 2 things. He has had sex with his sword, and that sword gave birth to another character that holds Nanao's sword until she gets old enough to become his lieutenant, right? This is a whole thing. This is like backstory. It's fucking weird, but at least Ohana kind of hot.
At what point in the animated series did they go over this?
They don't.
Okay. Yeah. So now it's for me, I didn't know any of that. I messaged JC and I'm like, did he bang his Bankai?
Yeah.
And he was like, yes. And I'm like, oh shit, are you serious? Like that actually happened? And you were like, yes, he did bang his Bankai. And I'm like, cool.
So
and they did have some stuff, right?
They joke about it back and forth.
She called him Sakura Nosuke, and he calls her Ohana.
Yes. So,
and I'm sure these names mean something to somebody, but they don't mean anything.
They mean something to the light novel readers. That's literally what it is.
Wait, so he gave birth to another sword, or he gave birth to a human being?
It's still part of the Bankai. The sword has to be housed somewhere. And it's housed in the kid that is birthed between him and his Bankai. So it doesn't appear unless his Bankai appeared. So it's not of this realm, technically. Yeah, nah, it's dumb. I get it. I agree.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's not super great. Okay. But I also acknowledge that it's stupid, but also like somebody was like, this is a really cool idea. And Kubo was like,
let's have a weird off.
Let's have another weird off, right? There's a weird off, and then episode 10's another one. Anyway,
moldy Swiss cheese guy attacks. Kyodaku uses the final act, which is his thread cutting scissors upon a blood streaked throat. And Swiss cheese guy's head explodes.
Hold on. We need to talk about Ohana being hot.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So Ohana's like, hey, Ohana, someone's getting a little chummy. You haven't seen me in 20 fucking years, and I had birth to that kid. Where the fuck have you been? Like, that's literally this exchange.
Just like an absent father.
Yeah. He is the womanizer of anything that is fuckable, and his Bankai was fuckable at one point. It's the fucking worst. Anyways, so it goes into a different animation style. He begins the final act, which is the throat cutting thread. What was it called, Greg?
Cutting scissors upon a blood-streaked throat.
This animation, I'm not gonna lie, goes fucking hard. The animation of him doing the finger chop thing is like whatever, but the throat bulging and like opening up and then just turning into the explosion, that shit went hard. I was like, oh shit, he's dead.
But you know what wasn't hard? This fucking mutated deer's lifeless body just floating to the bottom of the abyss. That did not go hard.
It was fucking great. Anyways, Lily Barrow has been like, this is what frustrates me with Bleach. These characters, they come into the season and like they're immediately extremely powerful, right? They immediately, without any fucking like prompt, kill so many fucking Soul Reapers. And like the only time Soul Reapers have died in the past is like Yami eating souls when he got to Karakura Town. That's literally it. And the Quincy's show up and they start fucking fragging. I respect that. Like at least there's that. It's a real show with real consequences now because Bleach didn't have consequences. You know what I mean? Like characters can die. But turns out they fucking can't. But whatever. The Lilibaro gets exploded. He's assumed dead. And then we go back to our boy Kuratsuchi. Mayuri still dealing with Pernida. The baby gets blown up. We see it again. Pernida is like, you didn't expect that I could shoot bow and arrows, you dumb piece of shit.
Well, no, let's go back before we get into the fucking bow and arrow hands. Kurotsuchi is like, man, I am so smart.
Yep.
I have used a baby with no teeth. I am so glad I didn't create a baby with teeth, because if he had teeth, he would have bitten off the fingers. And then those fingers would have multiplied. And then my grand plan of just having the baby with 70,000 layers of nerves would have all been foiled because of a pair of teeth. Left hand among us guy punches out of the baby. And is using a Quincy bow with its remaining 2 fingers and its thumb. And he might as well have just summoned a tech deck and just started fucking doing finger kickflips at that point, because this is how fucking stupid it looked. And then he's like, oh man, I'm a Quincy, so I can shoot bow and arrows, boys. And then Kurotsuchi says that he never thought the left hand of the Soul King wouldn't fucking embarrass himself by using fucking lame ass powers like the Quincy's.
Yep.
The hand grows its fingers back and then starts talking, and Kudotsuchi realizes it's getting better and better at talking since the beginning of the battle, and wonders if it's evolving or if it's regaining its memories as part of the Soul King.
Okay, here's the thing. Really important.
Yeah.
Passed over important. Pretty quickly. The Soul King was a Quincy. He's technically the first Quincy. Right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Quincy's had to come from somewhere, and Ryuhaba says that I'm home, kind of thing. It's implied that he's been a Quincy twice in Thousand Year Blood War, or maybe 3 times. As you go on more, you realize more and more that yes, the Soul King was a Quincy. That's a big reveal. And
no,
okay,
completely.
Whatever. It's a reveal in the regard that like
revealed.
So 2 things. The Soul King was so powerful that he basically holds the realms together. But why is he locked up? Why is he not just walking around doing hood rat shit, being Soul King and cool guy? Well, it's because of Squad Zero. It's like a whole thing, part of another storyline. But I don't think they go into it in 1,000 Year Blood War. So I don't think it's really a spoiler, but the whole thing with why they need him to be there and his arms and legs being cut off, it's like a whole nother process. Anyways, but here we are. We have Pernida.
Okay, because you bring up a good point. Other than the shit that you just said, the Soul King is literally holding the fabric of reality together. And all of these worlds he's the sun, and the worlds revolve around him. They orbit the Soul King. And without the Soul King, these worlds are just gonna fucking explode.
Technically, it's just orbiting his Reiatsu.
Sure. Okay. If he is that important, why is he just casually getting mentioned like
he's
now?
Not that important. His power.
Yeah. This is the jarringness of
It's Bleach, what frustrates me as well, because when you watch Bleach originally, they talk about the Soul King. They talk about how Aizen was trying to basically do the same thing as Yuhabaha, where he's trying to get to the Soul King's palace. He's trying to create the key. And the spiritual pressure in the palace is like enough to just kill people and stuff like that. It's all exposition that doesn't matter in the end, because we have killed the Soul King, and now like nothing's gone wrong yet, except Yuhabaha is now in the Soul King's palace, apparently holding the 3 worlds together.
More importantly, Among Us hand now grew his fingers back.
Yep.
And is just shooting fucking bows from each of his little
literally
fingers.
It's not even like he's shooting him. He's just holding his hand, and they're just like from everywhere. So the sword is the weapon of the Shinigami. The bow is the weapon of the Quincy.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
nerves are on the fucking ground. Nerves are connecting the arrow.
Yeah.
And he shoots the arrow, hits Kudotsuchi's left arm, which he has to blow off.
And he fucking explodes. So he just blows it off instantly.
And then Among Us hand is using the nerves on the ground to curve the arrows around like Angelina's box office busting hit. Wanted. He's just curving arrows.
Movie was
arrows about to hit him. But Nemu jumps out and grabs the arrow with her hand and then cuts off her own arm so it doesn't get twisted.
Yeah. But then
she's like, gets mad. And he's like, why you fucking interfere? I didn't order you to, bitch.
I've got more for this too, because I've taken a ton of pictures.
Go
Mary and Nemu have a very weird relationship, very similar to why everyone has a weird relationship with their lieutenant, because people are fucking weird. Nemu helps, cuts her own arm off, and then they go like land on an area, and he's like, I didn't fucking tell you to help me. He's like, where did you learn to do that? I didn't teach you that. This is all like you fucked up. And she's like, I'm doing it on my own instinct. I don't know why I did it. And kind of like not understanding what's happening, but still her stoic face. And then he's just like, knock that shit off. Don't ever do that again unless I tell you. You don't die unless I fucking tell you to die. That's the rule. And so you kind of get this idea that he cares for her in a really fucked up way, obviously, to a certain extent, but she's a device to help him be as strong as he is. They're standing there, and he's like, if you land on the ground, you could have been a meatball, you fucking idiot. And she's like, oh, well, I have something for you. And he's like, oh, okay, what'd you have? And she's like, a MacGuffin. Here you go. Here's your arm back. Like, and so she He left it behind. He thanks her kind of by using it on himself and then giving it to her so that she can use it on herself. They begin the return fire on Pernida that is obviously, he's stunned by their love for each other. That's why he hasn't shot more arrows at them. He wanted to let them exposite. Anyways.
Yeah, they have well, first of all, I just wanted to go over some of these little intricacies because her name is Nemu. Nemu means to sleep in Japanese. And then he calls her full name which is Nemu Nana Go, which is sleep number 7. And that is the whole project that created her. They have the tiny flashback to when she was created. And she said she liked the first name he called her, which was Nana Go, which is number 7 in Japanese. Just to clear that up, why that's important and why her name is that.
Kuretsuchi was just basically a scientist before he was a captain. And a lot of the people in his like force or battalion, I guess, they have been there with him a long time. And he has been developing embryos to house Soul Reaper souls or something. He wants to be able to create some sort of life by his own terms, like without birth, just in a test tube. Test tube babies, he's working on them. And they show 3, and they show Nemu walking over as a kid and questioning what those 3 are. They are the first, second, and third of the sleep project.
Technically, 1, 2, and 3 were just tests. 4 created a brain, which helped the other scientist dude. They used it to fix his brain. 5 got to the embryo stage, which then was used to modify his Zanpakuto to make the weird baby one.
And that's the reason why he's a captain, because of the way that his research went and obtaining his Bankai through that. That's why they made him a captain. Because Soul Reaper Society doesn't give a shit about ethics, right? At all. At fucking all.
So 6 made it to 2 years old and then died of cancer, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then 7 is where we have Nemu now.
Yes, and she is long past her normal life expectancy and is now, I mean, she's probably hundreds of years old because they're all like super old. And when all of this is being shown to us, it's just us getting the backstory. She's kind of remembering it. She remembers that she wants to protect Mayuri. And that's what her aim has always been. Not necessarily like understanding it until this point, and she loses her absolute shit, jumps down on the ground like Wolverine style, and is like, I'm gonna beast mode through Pernida, which is the worst fucking idea. It's like she didn't even watch the last fucking episode. You know what I mean? Like,
no, and the thing, there's stuff that doesn't matter. Like their whole plan to begin with of him flying around on his hover shoes and putting some nerve agent down, and then she needs to infect an arrow, and like none of that shit matters now.
Yes. So
it doesn't matter.
That's right. Sorry. Yeah. But she stabs into the live arrow, infects the arrow with this agent. He's been spinning around on his boots with this agent spraying everywhere to like stop Pernida, and they're
crop dusting him.
Yeah, he's crop dusting the literal shit out of him. Nemu stabs into the arrow. The arrow starts feeding into Pernida. Pernida just rips the thumb off because, like, yeah, obviously, you fucking idiot. Like, you would get countered really quickly. Pernida's learning the whole reason that he's like, oh, you're talking like Zaraki. Oh, that's why you're talking down to me. I get it now. You learned from whatever. Nemu Wolverine poses, and as Kuretsuchi's about to get slapped from the sky into whatever death he's about to have, she dives straight through Pernida with
literally just insta-gives it.
Mayuri in hand. She fucking jumps like through him and explodes Pernida. Where the other 2 are at this point, probably still in the stomach. I don't fuck. So then the hand reforms after being exploded. Nemu's like, I'll use part of my soul to attack this one and explode it again. And she does the soul busting attack. We got this shot of, hey, we didn't need this, but the fans need it. You know what I mean? Cheeked up, like, here you go, blast Pernida. I'll cut 6% of my soul and directly shoot it into him and destroy him. That doesn't mean anything because those are arbitrary words that don't have any fucking realness. Like, you don't cut 6% of your soul off. That's not a fucking thing. I don't get it. Blows up Pernita. And during that time, Pernita reforms and then shoots fucking 80 fucking things at her. 80 tendrils. What are they? The nerves. Sorry. The nerves. And then they blow her the fuck up.
They just disintegrate her, yeah.
It's just literally a mist of Nemu. And then
not misty enough, but yeah.
Well, so then she, like, the blood splatters all around Mayuri. He's like kind of stunned. He's like, what the fuck did I just watch? And has like a moment with himself and his old protege. What was his name? The Arankar.
I don't remember. I know, but
pink-haired Arankar guy who is dead as fuck, right?
Yeah.
He comes back and just starts talking mad shit to his face. And he's like, you're a little bitch. You never knew what the fuck you were doing. I'm better than you. I'm stronger than you. I cook better. I look better. Anyways, so Mary's like, oh, wait, you're right. I am alone and helpless. And I had feelings for Nemu at some point and let it supersede the study that I was doing.
Because Nemu was basically like, she was his daughter. He's an awful father.
Yeah.
And then he's like, let me recover your brain, Nemu. Hey, Among Us guy, keep lapping up all
eating.
Those organs.
Yep. And why does Pernita need to eat? I don't fucking know.
You already sucked it up with the nerves. Apparently, all you have to do is twist Zaraki's arm to get his memories. So why are you just lapping up Nemu parts off the fucking ground?
Right.
I guess it doesn't matter because he saved the brain. And then, if you don't have the brain, you get cancer. And that's literally what happened. He gave Pernita Among Us hand cancer and then he dies.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened.
That is how Bleach cleans stuff up. You gave someone cancer.
Yeah. Did you get cancer reading that or watching it?
Yes, I'm dying.
Okay. We get our next few moments where Mary is pretty fucked up, is trying to walk, falls because his leg is twisted, but has the brain.
The nerves are still like alive, I guess. They fucking literally twist his legs in the opposite direction and he just falls over.
I think he just got hit when Pernita was trying to eat Mayuri. Or sorry, when trying to eat a Nemu. Whatever. Zaraki's homies are like, hey man, that was sick. And he's like, they didn't interfere. That was pretty cool. And then they go into their test tube and they see two people that were zombies before by what's her name? Bambi,
zombie chick.
Bambiota or something like that.
Sure. Cool. Yeah.
They see our young man, oh my god, Hitsugaya, and his hot big tittied lieutenant.
Yeah, I didn't even remember their names. I literally put Big Boob Chick and Frost Guy.
So he comes back and he's like, hey, thanks for saving. Mary's like, shut the fuck up, you little dumb bitch. I didn't do it for you. I just was experimenting to see if I could reverse zombification, and I can because I'm the best. They put Zaraki in the tube, they put Mayuri in the tube, and the tube fills up with goo. The other lieutenants are kneeled in front of Mayuri, thanking him for saving Zaraki.
Yeah, he goes in the tube with Nemu's brain, and then you have the scene where like Nemu is naked floating towards him. So are they going to merge together as one, or is she going to come back by herself?
She'll come back, I'm sure.
Yeah, okay. But then also he said, I stopped the de-zombification, but at the same time that cuts their life force or like their lifelong. Yeah. But what? They're dead. They're soul reapers.
Well, okay.
They've been alive. They've been alive for 1,000 years. The old man fire guy was like 2,000, 3,000 years old. By cutting their life expectancy, what are you doing? Is it a percentage? Is it a flat cut? Doesn't even matter. Probably not. Why even say that? Why have that comment of casually saying, oh, life force reduction, debuff, like, oh, it's okay.
I don't know, man.
What does that mean?
It's arbitrary. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Yamamoto was, thousands of years old.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to what's happening in the current time. Mary is now envisioning Nemu and him in water, and she's
naked together. He's envisioning his
daughter
naked and her naked together floating in water.
It's weird. Anyways, so then we have a few scenes where Bambiota is with some homies.
Monster Shoes guy.
So we get the scene. They have a bunch of the Quincy soldiers, and he's like eating them with his side mouth, and she's like shooting him and punching him. Sure, that happens. They're basically saying they're not with Yuhabaha anymore. And then they show Baz B coming up to, God, I can't remember his name. Hoshvald. Coming up to Hoshvald and saying, it seems you had a strong interest in Uryu. Why are you watching him all the time? That's signals to me that you don't trust him. And the episode ends. Basically.
That's it. Yeah, there you go.
So,
I mean, and what's going to happen here?
I know what happens, Greg. You can't ask me that because I already know what happens.
No, okay, I'll tell you what happens.
Okay.
They have 2 episodes left.
Yes. Of Core 3.
Armored Core 4, Bazby's going to get fucked. He's going to do absolutely nothing. He's the worst.
Okay.
Quincy Zombie Girl also sucks with her, sailor scouts that she turned into zombies. They are from fucking the first season of 1,000 Year Blood that died, and she zombified him. Monster Shoe Guy, fucking no one matters. No Quincy's matter. Everyone's bad. And then they end.
Damn. All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm somewhat enjoying Bleach. I'm okay with it. I know kind of what's happening next, so I don't know how they wrap up season 2 or season 3, but I know how the 4th core is going to start. There's no way they haven't even hinted at it, so the next fight that happens has to be kind of, I don't know. I think it's going to be a lame fight, so I think they should have saved these 2 for the end because they're more important. Like, there's one of the fights that I think it's 40 chapters. Kubo said that he cut it short because he was not feeling healthy, and that's when he was starting to feel sick.
Well, this all kind of makes sense why the story is so messed up then.
So they have 2 more episodes. I'm excited. Greg's not. Onward and upward to the greatest show we've ever watched.
Triple D's. Here we go. Dan to Dan. I want to say like speed run, but actually stuff like happens and it's important.
Dude,
and
it's
Dan to Dan tells like a good story, unlike other animes.
Well,
okay, here we go. Episode 9. Dan to Dan. Off to a good start. Arya, Ira turns into
her name's Ira, and you kept saying Arya.
It's because like my note thing auto corrected it when I typed it, and then I just never went back to change it. So as I'm reading my notes, I'm reading it that way, and I realized it when I was editing the last episode that I was calling her Arya for like literally 3 hours, and probably I'm gonna do it again. But Ira turns into acrobatic Silky. Okaroon is naked, and she's fighting the aliens while Okaroon is trying to find clothes. Serpo's attacking, and the mantis shrimp is their mercenary.
Serpo's business boys, business pieces of shit. Serpo's be Serpo.
Ira flash kicks mantis shrimp boxer into the ceiling, but then the Serpos pin her to the wall. Very similar to how they pinned Okaroon before, because he's still looking for clothes. The Serpos are surprised so many people have powers, and they're going to take Ira's banana organ. As they're giving her the speech about banana organs, mantis shrimp boxer literally just jacks her through the wall.
Yeah.
Like Falcon punches her through the classroom.
Yeah.
Okaroon still hasn't found any clothes.
Yeah.
But
and
he goes
and
to,
won't.
Yeah,
will not find
there
clothes.
There are no clothes in this world that they are in right now.
Yeah.
But he's naked, but goes to Ira's aid. And they both transform, but the Serpos subdue both of them.
I have a note here that acrobatic Silky is dope as fuck. She's doing some cool moves. And then poor naked Okaroon, the Serpoians using serpogrammetry, which is their version of psychic powers. And yeah, the kids' transformations wear off, but the Serpos cannot, when they use their like psychic energy and like pin the kids, they cannot enter that area. And so
they call it the awesome zone.
Yeah, I forgot about that. They cannot enter the awesome zone when all 3 of them are using. So they are like, hey, shrimp guy that we paid for, go punch this kid in the back of the skull. And he does.
Yeah.
He proceeds to start fucking pile driving Okaroon in the back of the skull. And Ira gets worried. She's like, oh shit, he's gonna die. I can't let my hubby in the future die.
Momo shows up. She breaks the awesome zone. And then the second that she breaks it, Okaroon transforms and headbutts the mantis shrimp boxer.
Okarun says, I really missed you in his Turbo Granny form. So I don't know if Momo really understands how his emotions work in Turbo Granny. I don't think we understand yet. But anyways, well, the Serpoians are like, yeah, fuck that. We're going to use our dongs now. And he unleashes his penis into the shrimp's skull, which now changes the shrimp into a Serpoian, kind of, but still more mantis shrimp punchy than the shrimp was before.
Yeah, this was all non-consent.
He starts singing a song called Japanese Businessman.
I don't know if that's a real song, but
It's
he
great.
was singing.
It can now use psychic powers as well. It does faster punches, or it's using psychic powers to punch the kids. It does the salaryman attack. Turbo Okarun and Acrobatic Silky go on the counteroffensive, and Momo is able to hold the psychic energy from the Serpoians away, and they are fighting the new Mantis Serpoian shrimp with dance. And Okarun still butt-ass naked.
The reason why they have to do the dance is because Okarun can see the speed of the mantis shrimp punches, but Ira can't. So Momo is holding off the awesome zone from the Serpos, while Ira and Okarun are naked dance kicking the mantis shrimp.
Yeah.
Momo gets mad at them again for doing this naked battle dance, loses concentration, and then they get suppressed really quick. The water rises and starts to turn green. And then
oh man, like him fucking yelling Nessie. Oh my god. I did say it was Loch Ness Monster. I'm fucking in, dude. I love it.
So everything turns green. Nessie shows up. Okarun is nerding out that Nessie is here.
Yeah. He's like, fuck yeah, dude.
Ira joins in on the nerding out about Nessie, and then Momo gets mad.
Yeah, because Ira's just really supportive. She's like, I'm really stoked that you know so much about all this stuff. You're so smart. And Momo's like, you fucking bitch, shut up.
I'm stoked because you're stoked. I said so the Serpos are still there, and they're arguing
that the shrimp is getting a pay cut.
Yeah, the mantis shrimp box is going to get a pay cut.
Yeah.
And then Nessie literally just shoots one of them in half.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then Ira gets uppercutted by mantis shrimp boxer businessman.
Mm-hmm.
So now everything is water.
Yeah.
The walls, the floors, the ceiling, everything is now like turning into water. So Ira gets uppercutted, like from where she's at, through like a pocket of air, then into another ceiling of water, I guess the best way I can describe
the next floor, but she's in between floors. Yeah.
So the mantis shrimp punches harder underwater, but the mantis shrimp also still needs air, so it can't just stay underwater forever and punch at them. So Momo tells Okarun to transform, and since he has Turbo Granny powers, he should be able to swim really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okarun transform, and then he just sinks and says Turbo Granny can't swim. So apparently he can't swim when he's in that form.
Yeah.
But they have to save Ira.
Yeah.
Then Momo and Okarun start arguing about how Momo thinks they make out literally 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Okarun says, so it was actually bugging you, Momo? And she's like, yeah. And he tells her to wait and then grabs her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tells her that if it's bothering her, then she should tell him and to let him explain since he wants her to understand.
Mm-hmm.
She's still mad, but they get pulled underwater and he holds onto her, still being naked. Then Momo has an idea. She's going to move
the worst
Okarun.
idea, by the way.
She's going to move Okarun with her psychic hands and ride him like a surfboard.
She's squeezing him like a fish underwater, making him slippery and sending him forward.
Yes.
I don't know. No, okay. But yes.
All checks out way better than
Bleach.
So
okay.
They're flying. She's hand squeezing him, riding surfboard. They fly out from the water into the water ceiling.
Yeah.
And then they save Ira. And then after they get somewhere safe, Momo is like, Ira, take your clothes off. It's easier to move in the water without clothes. So Ira and Momo both get naked. Okarun's already naked, so it's okay. Now we have 3 naked kids. And the Serpos.
That's not a phrase that you should say, by the way.
We have 3 naked high school kids.
They're not naked. They have their skivvies on, okay?
Okarun's naked. His penis is out.
Yeah.
He only has 1 ball. The Serpos are all getting killed by the laser beam spitting Nessie.
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't have different names. So I called the Serpo the Red-Eyed Serpo.
Yeah.
And the Mantis Shrimp are the only ones alive. So Red-Eye Serpo and Mantis Shrimp are the only ones that are still alive.
Yes.
And Red-Eye Serpo is like, hey, yo, this Nessie thing that we hired is out of control. You also suck.
Yeah.
We're going to merge together.
Yeah.
Get ready for this.
We're forming Voltron.
Yes. So after Ira, Momo, Okarun get naked, they're like, all right, we got to stop this shit and we got to win.
We got to break this thing's neck.
They dive back down and they immediately run right into the Nessie Serpo Mantis Shrimp combo, Voltron.
Yeah.
And they discover that it sucks in the water through its neck to charge like the fucking water cutter.
Technically, it's through its whole body since the organ, whatever, sucking of the water.
But it executes via the mouth. So then
they're going to break its neck.
Yeah. And they're like, it can't continuously fire if the neck is broken. So they're like, okay, let's do it. Ira dives down, targets neck, gets Mantis Shrimp punch, uppercutted again, like into infinity. And then that's when the kids realize that it's like a whole merge of all of the aliens.
Yes.
Okarun says they have no chance with it being underwater. And then Momo has another idea. And then they all get punched again.
Mm-hmm.
Momo's by herself. It goes to finish her off. Because it takes too long to charge the water beam, it's going to Mantis Shrimp punch her.
Mm-hmm.
And as it's about to punch Momo, Momo blasts all the water away from the Mantis Shrimp. So when it unleashes its punch, it doesn't have the resistance of the water to keep its body together. So its arms literally just fucking break off.
And explode.
Yeah. And then Ira hair slings. Okarun runs down the hair and full throttles it and saves Momo.
And blasts through the mouth. She was in the teeth of the Serpoian Nessie, and it was charging up to blast her.
Yeah. And he saves her while full throttling it. He basically Nemu 6% soul cut Among Us hand.
Yeah.
That's what he did, but
that is 100% what happened.
And they defeated the Serpos. Everything goes back to normal.
Yeah.
They're laying on top of each other, naked, covered in water, in a puddle.
They are sweaty. And that is not what normal kids... Okay, first and foremost, like, they transfer back to high school. Obviously, this traumatic, crazy thing has happened. They've literally transcended this world into another dimension. And now they're back all of a sudden. Like, instantaneously. They were in class. They're all together. They're back at school looking like they banged in the hallway. Everyone at school is like, why are you all naked? What is happening? I said, poor kids, man. This is going to be tough to live down. 2 naked girls and the nerd.
Yeah. And the scene of them running away, I thought was just
fucking hilarious. Like, they like Momo and Okarun get up and just start running away. And it's like terrifying. Oh, this part. Yeah. I have the picture of them getting found. And like the faces, I cannot. Like, they're fucking horror. The kid's got like a fucking camera on the ground. And the kid's like on his phone. He's laying sideways under some kid's legs. I was just like, dude, no way. No fucking way. So everybody sees they're naked. They start running. And the kids make it away, kind of. Oh, and Ira catches up to them. And it's like, don't run without me. And then we begin episode 10. Ugh, this show is so good.
Episode 10. We have Ira, Momo, and Okarun at the school nurse's office. And
she's a dominatrix.
Yeah, 100%. Her name is just Queen. She is the queen. She's Queen Sensei, is what her actual badge says.
Yeah.
And she's like, is anyone bullying you? Are you guys getting bullied?
I will fucking kill everybody.
Yeah, okay? They're like, no, we're not getting bullied. And she's like, there's zero tolerance for bullies.
Yeah.
You just say the name. You tell me the name.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're fine. But some old guy comes in and is like, oh, nurse, what's going on here? And she's just like, bitch, get out of here. And
I'm in the middle of something.
She starts whipping him with her riding crop.
It's a cat of 9 tails. Okay. It's a riding crop.
She starts whipping. She's whipping old man.
Yeah, she's whipping him.
And then she steps out.
Yeah.
And then Momo and Ira just start freaking out that their image and their popularity is just fucking destroyed. Everything's gone.
Yes.
Okarun is like, the aliens are targeting Me in particular, because of Turbo Granny's power.
Yes.
He said now that Ira has yokai power, they're also going to target her.
Yes.
So now he whips out the whiteboard and is like, this is what's going on.
Ira is like fucking hands on jaw staring at Okaroon like he's the greatest thing ever created. And then Momo with her old lady cap is just like moving towards like the same facial distance. And it's just I love the way that they tell the story of the characters
100%.
during, oh my God, the exposition and telling the story. Oh, it's wonderful.
So he says that the aliens never attacked Earth because they have yokai around.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't attack because of the yokai, but they can attack humans. So humans with yokai powers are desirable because they want to capture them and develop technology that they can use against the yokai so they can invade Earth.
And also evolve themselves.
Yeah. And the girls don't get it, but they just roll with it anyway.
Ira's like, you're so smart. You're so great.
And then they start freaking out again that everyone saw them naked.
Yeah.
Ira said they should just blame it all on Momo. Momo's like, I don't give a fuck. Do whatever you want. But then Okaroon was like, no, we shouldn't do that. But then Ira's friends come into the nurse's office to get her.
Mm-hmm.
And Okaroon is worried that Momo is going to become the villain. But she doesn't care and wants to know what he was doing with Ira in the courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
Okaroon tells her the truth. He says he was working out and he wanted to get stronger to surprise her because it's way cooler to do it that way. And then she starts teasing him about it.
Yeah.
And then Okaroon gets a little worked up and starts to leave, but then she calls him back. And then they have this silent eye contact tag thing going on.
Yeah.
Super cute.
Yeah.
As they're doing that, Muko and Momo's other friend, who I don't think we know her name yet, bust into the nurse's office.
Ruin a moment.
Yeah. And then start grilling Momo about hugging Okaroon naked.
Oh, dude. And then the other friend goes over to the whiteboard and is just like, I know what's going on here, motherfuckers. I know exactly what's happening here. And then just starts explaining the weirdest detective shit in the world. And then she's like, it's nude gladiator combat. I fucking knew it. Like,
yes. Momo with the double ruler, Ira with the protractor, and whatever the hell else.
The protractor shield.
Yeah, the nude gladiator combat for Okaroon, and Momo was talking to the mantis shrimp to learn how to punch to knock Ira out.
Yes.
It's what she would say.
100%.
Momo tells her to shut the fuck up. And then Ira's back in class, and all of her schoolmates are worried about her. She goes into popular Princess Ira mode and was like, oh, I don't want to talk about it, you guys. Let's just, not worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, yeah, check that out at work. And then one of the students said, Momo is bullying her.
Yeah.
And everyone jumps on board. They go on this witch hunt.
The
about
instantaneous.
Momo. Yeah, they're just like, Momo's the worst. Momo's bullying Ira.
Because she's pretty, obviously. So Momo is like, she's prettier than I am, so we gotta bully her. And Ira's just sitting there like holding her tongue for a second, kind of cringing at herself, I imagine.
Yeah.
Like, she hasn't said anything yet. And she's just sitting there stewing, wondering what to do. Because she said that she was going to blame Momo. These kids automatically all just start blaming Momo anyway. She has the out, and she decides no, that she's going to say something, and says to the rest of the class that she's the one that started the rumor of Momo being a slut.
Yeah. And then she gets up and leaves the classroom, and all the other students are confused.
Mm-hmm.
But Ira goes outside and is freaking out that she ruined her reputation and everything. Momo walks out and asks if she's come up with any good excuses yet. And Ira says that she said all sorts of bad things about Momo, but Momo says she doesn't believe her.
She's like, you didn't say shit. You a little bitch.
And then Mantis Shrimp Boxer comes.
Yes.
And he's like, I got to make a living for my family. Ira and Momo go on the defensive, but it doesn't seem that the Mantis Shrimp has the strength to go on.
Yeah, and just he's covered in the white liquid and falls forward. Yes. I assumed the white liquid was from the blood of the Serpoian, but we later find out it's something.
Yes. And then we have a flashback with Mantis Shrimp Boxer and his family.
Dude, oh my God. The fucking kid with the goggles. I can't. It was fucking.
And then that thing the Mantis Shrimp was saying before.
Mm-hmm. Chiquitita.
Is his son's name.
Mm-hmm.
Mantis Shrimp Boxer wakes up and he's at Seiko's house.
Yep.
And all the kids are there, and Momo tells Seiko that this is an alien.
Yeah. She's like, no.
Seiko is like, no, this is a Kappa.
It's a Kappa, 100%.
Okarum says like, oh, there's theories that Kappas are aliens, you know. But then Mantis Shrimp Boxer gets up, and they tell him, don't try anything funny. Since Seiko is there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets up, and then he bumps into the little dinner tray of curry. And Momo said, I don't know what aliens eat, so I just made you some curry. And Mantis Shrimp just starts crying.
Yeah.
He says no one has ever been this nice to him, and promises not to ever hurt them again.
Mm-hmm.
From there, they're all eating sushi, and everyone is fighting with everyone else. Seiko is fighting with Mantis Shrimp Boxer because he's eating the literal best part of the sushi and just saying how it tastes like shit.
Yeah.
You have Okaroon and Turbo Granny.
Yep.
They're fighting over the sea urchin.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Momo and Ira fighting with each other. And everyone is fighting, and it's just big old silly fun for the whole family.
Yep.
And Seiko's like, I'm never going to serve you guys fucking sushi again, you pieces of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then Mantis Shrimp says his son is extremely ill. And whenever his son pees, he also pees out all of his blood. So if he doesn't get new blood every time he goes to the bathroom, he's going to die.
Yeah.
And his wife died to the same illness.
Yeah.
He goes into the story of why he needs the money, which is for the kid. He tells them where he's from, and he's basically from the slums, and he's using a bunch of words that nobody understands.
Yeah.
So it's funny because they're like, we don't know what you're saying, but he just keeps going.
Yeah.
He said that he's extremely weak compared to the other people of his race.
Yep.
And he has to take the super dangerous outlaw jobs. And his wife died because he's weak. Okaroon offers up his wiener if it would help the Mantis Shrimp Boxer. But Momo's like, no, dude.
We just got that thing back. And he's like, we can get it back again. It's fine.
But she's like, we got to think of this smart. One lump sum isn't going to save him.
Yeah.
He needs steady income so he can buy the blood for his son.
Yeah.
Okaroon is just like, but I can't pretend that he's not in trouble and there's nothing I can do about it.
Right. And Ira's like, you're so kind. I'm with Okaroon on this one. We can always get his wiener back.
Mantis Shrimp says Momo is right, but he won't hurt them anymore. So he gets up to leave. Seiko stops him and says his blood stinks. And his blood-soaked bandages smell familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Then Seiko goes into the kitchen and gives him a glass of milk. And he says that it's the same as his blood.
It's
apparently
the same fucking thing.
Mantis shrimps bleed cow milk.
Yep.
Seiko said she would ask a dairy farmer to hook him up with a cow.
Yeah.
And after that, he beams it into his spaceship.
Literal tractor beam, old school style, cow on all fours, just getting lifted into the sky. My favorite thing. And the screaming announcement from this shrimp thing, like, thank you guys so much, that is shaking the fucking earth. Like,
yeah, and they're like, dude, quit it. You're gonna you're gonna get seen. Like, everyone's gonna think this is an abduction.
Yeah.
Like, fucking just get out of here. So he leaves. He thanks them all for their generosity. He'll never forget them. And if they need anything, just give them a call.
Yep.
So I'm sure this isn't the last we're gonna see Mantis Boxer Shrimp.
Nah.
After he leaves, they go back in, and Momo asks for Seiko to buy them new school uniforms since they keep getting them fucking blown off of their bodies.
Yeah.
She said she would buy uniforms for Ira and Okaroon, but not for Momo, because Momo has the eyes of someone that uses adults.
She literally says it. Like, Momo says it, whispers it to Okaroon, and then obviously Granny Seiko's gonna know because that's her grandchild. She knows that motherfucker. Stands up.
And I just like how she's chilling there with a glass of milk after they gave the cow to the Mantis Shrimp Boxer.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So she tells Momo, if you do an impression of Hiroshi Abe, I will get you.
Is he a famous comedian or she? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I assume it's a comedian, judging by. Oh, he's a Oh, I know this guy. Yeah, he's a Japanese model and actor.
Okay.
I've seen this guy before. I know who this is.
Okay.
So she tells Momo to do an impression of Hiroshi Abe. And if she does it, she'll buy her the uniform. So Momo reluctantly does it. She puts up her hair, makes this really weird face, and keeps saying, I am a rocket engine valve. the doorbell rings, and Seiko is like, "Hey, yo, go open that door without breaking character."
Yeah.
So Momo opens the door, says the line, and then she realizes it's Gigi. And Okarun is sitting there wondering, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah. He looks like the
And
coolest guy I've ever seen. He's got
yeah,
earrings. He's got a high collar. Like, this
red
kid
hair.
obviously is way cooler than I.
He asks Granny Seiko, like, who is this? And she says it's Momo's childhood friend. And then she also says that it's Momo's first love. And then
Yikes.
Okarun, I think, visibly gets jealous.
Oh yeah. We've got the kids. They've assembled the party.
Yes.
In the trailer or in the opening scene, you see Gigi.
Yeah.
I am so on board. Oh, I can't wait for him to be the worst dork you've ever seen. Ever.
So yeah, that ends episode 10. So now we're introduced to another character. We have Gigi. But then I wonder what they're going to do for the next 2 episodes and how they're going to flesh him out.
I think there's just a ton of room. Obviously, Gigi is here to disrupt the love interest between Okarun and Momo, as the male counterpart probably is going to be in love with Momo, and Momo's like, dude, like, chill the fuck out. I don't like you like that. Or maybe Momo's like, I am actually pretty torn. Like, I used to like this guy a lot, and my feelings for him didn't really go away, but he dissed me or something. And Momo is going to have to make a choice on who she wants to end up with. And it's going to be Okarun because he's the best. I mean, let's be real. This is Team Jacob or Team Edward. Greg, were you Team Jacob?
You're saying words that I've tried so hard to forget. But I don't know anything about Gigi, but I do like the chemistry between Okarun and Momo. So I'm Team Okarun.
Okay.
But how Dan to Dan does storytelling, and we can see with the Ira and Acrobatic Silky episodes that if they wanted to develop Gigi, they can do it in like half an episode and they're going to be sold. Their storytelling is so good that they could probably take half of episode 11 and then I will just be like, I love Gigi. He is best guy ever.
Oh, 100%.
Unlike Bleach, who just has Sniper Man that turns into a cheese butterfly and then into a deer, gets waterboarded and then his head blown off and then sinks to the bottom, and then Kyodaku bangs his Bankai.
That's out of order, but that's pretty accurate.
Dan to Dan's great.
Dan to Dan is great.
I think everything about it is great. The animation is great. Storytelling, character development, the comedy that's in it, how they balance the serious moments with the silly moments, the slice of life, school life, all extremely relatable. I think the biggest thing for me is a lot of that school stuff too was like, I mean, I wasn't cool or popular and I didn't do anything in school. I was a loser. But I remember seeing this other stuff happen.
Yeah.
So the fact that they put it in animation and put it into a story, and then I could watch it and immediately relate, I think it's a very powerful and effective way to tell a story and to draw your viewers in because you're showing that you understand them.
Yeah. And I mean, even like resonating with adults, the way they tell the story. I mean, 99% of us have gone to high school at some point and seen a lot of these things happen. And the way they tell the story, it's like a fever dream of what a kid would go through. You literally could have just equate this all to being in these kids' heads. You could just stop and be like, yeah, demons and aliens don't exist. They just literally don't know how to connect. And so they have to create these fabrications so that they can talk to each other, you know, like, and connect with each other. And then furthermore, it's like, you don't have to have the aliens and the ghosts to feel like this is just a good story. It's just icing on the cake, dude. It's like the way they do this is really fun and interesting for everyone that's been involved.
I mean, all the good and the bad, right? Even the rumor spreading is like a perfect example. I remember when I was in high school, or maybe it was middle school. It was, well, one of them. There was just some rumor about some girl that like supposedly just like blew 100 dudes under the bleachers behind the school.
Yeah.
Because one guy went back there and then he didn't like the girl, or he did like the girl and she didn't like him, and then he found like it. deflated balloon that he thought was a condom or something. And then it just turns into this weird giant rumor
Yeah.
because someone else is like insecure pretty much.
But
Like it's all relatable.
yeah, we had those rumors at our school too, because people don't know how to deal with their emotions at that age. It's
Yeah.
just like this whole cycle. And even still, you watch people to this day not know how to deal with their emotions, not have any sort of forward momentum and growth in their own humanity. It's a really relatable story, and I love it. I just love Dan to Dan. The only thing I don't love about Dan to Dan is when people misconstrue and turn something that's really great and has a good message into whatever they decide that it is. Something to talk about real quick that Twitter kind of blew up on is the person that does the voice acting work for Okarun in English changed his Twitter profile to some artwork, and the artwork was of a black Okarun. And so like this person, obviously that's the way they perceive this character, or wanted to draw this character, or wanted to give like any sort of like identifiable traits to their, you know, nationality maybe, or whatever it is. It's their art, right? People then demonize and say whatever their own idea of Okarun is. It's like, well, we watched him be a Asian kid, like obviously the way that a lot of these are drawn, like fairer skinned. It's like people get upset that the character isn't faithful to what the original source material is in their own eyes, and say that that is racist against the character because you're not following what that character was. Do not take away someone's excitement and power for the sheer fact that you want to be right.
For me, because I read the article,
Mhm.
it's not like I dove super deep into it. I have a high level understanding of what's going on. My big thing is this is fan art. So the art that was drawn with Okarun and Momo, you know, as black characters,
Mhm.
it's fan art. It's not like the artist isn't saying this is how Okarun and Momo should have been. Like they're not, it's not like some petition to like change the races or race swap those characters.
Right.
They just drew fan art of them. How would it be any different if you drew fan art with gender swapped Okarun as a girl and Momo as a boy? Probably not.
Literally,
right? Like I'm sure it would be just fine, and I'm sure it exists already.
dude,
Is
people do
like,
that all the
it's-
time in cosplay.
I
They
know.
gender swap the characters.
Yeah,
And this is what's frustrating to me when people are upset that a guy is swapping the gender of a female character to, like, even though it might be their favorite character or whatever it is, but like girls, because it's sexy, or because it's like, oh, like female Ichigo. I recently just saw this on TikTok. There was like a female Ichigo one, and it's like nobody, like, people all like it and they're really excited about it. It's like these are two sides of the same coin, and you're deciding that one side is bad for what? For what reason? What's the point?
it's basically it, right? It's like the cosplay thing's like a good example because if someone wanted to play, I mean, I was just at Youmacon and obviously there were people cosplaying all sorts of stuff. You're in no world when you go up to someone else cosplaying a character and being like, oh, you're too fat to play that character.
Dude, people do that.
Oh,
That's
or-
actually
or
not
you're-
true,
you're-
because people
yeah,
do
you're-
that.
To me, that would be crazy.
To
if
a
other people
normal,
did that.
well-adjusted person, you would
Yeah.
never do that to somebody. Like,
Yeah. If you look at things like, oh, back in the day, like Man-Fae. So you have Faye from Cowboy Bebop.
yeah,
And then you have a dude cosplaying as Faye, but everyone loved it because it was so ridiculous. I'm sure he got some hate, right?
Oh
I'm
my
sure
God,
like people
dude.
came up to him and was just like, don't play Faye. That's a girl's character. Like, oh,
Oh.
man, you're too hairy to play
Also-
Faye. You're embarrassing yourself, right?
yeah, you're embarrassing yourself, and also you're embarrassing my vision of what this character is, because I've hypersexualized this character, or whatever the definition of what I have this character as. You've offended. It's like, shut the fuck up. You're the only person making an embarrassing situation.
I always say it. It's like you're trying to have a dick measuring competition and you're the only one with your dick out right now.
Yeah.
So you're the one that looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
Everyone else is completely fine and normal.
Yeah.
You're the one that's trying to make it weird.
But yeah, don't do that. Don't stop doing that, please.
Was that your moral of the story?
That's basically my moral of the story.
Oh, okay.
That was a good segue into that.
Yeah.
Don't be a piece of shit to other people for literally zero.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys.
Don't let stuff like this discourage you from doing things that you think are cool. And don't not cosplay a character because you're not that same race or that same sex or for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
You do you. You're not hurting anyone else.
Right. I mean,
so
literally,
you go ahead and you do your thing.
Cosplay is basically how half the internet found femboys. And look what that's done to the culture. Like, everybody's got boners for that. So let it rip. You got something to say, Greg?
I think Turbo Granny stole my wiener.
Friends, thank you so much for listening to this extended edition of the Anime Book Club podcast. We appreciate you being here, and thank you so much for hanging out with us and listening on what platforms, Greg?
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music. And also check us out on the Instagram.
It's true. We're all there. What's next on the docket, Greg, before we go?
Finales.
Not the finale of Demon Lord.
Finales.
Okay. And then we will have some wrap-ups of the seasons once we're all finished. And then we will give you guys so much more for next season, what we're going to be watching. Core 4? Hell yeah.
4 cores, 7 years ago.
Anyways, see you guys soon. Bye. Thank you, friends, for checking out the Anime Book Club podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
And if you don't want to miss the next one, follow us on the socials where we announce new episodes, content, and other cool stuff. You can also check out our anime list with our rankings and follow along with what we're currently watching and what we have watched in the past.
All the links are in the description. See you in the next one. Bye!